You are back on Game Changers APAC Elite. It is still Tash's birthday, and you are here with the both of us, Mika Fabs and Tash Bunny, on the desk. We just saw Team SMG continue their win streak, which has been going on for about a year. They say, what do we say to the gods of the lose streak? Not today. It doesn't look like it's going to be today. Will it be this week? That's the big question for Team SMG. Unfortunately, this means that Orangutan X to fall to the lower bracket. That story is to be continued tomorrow. For now, though, it is our second series of the day, Tash. RRQ versus FULLSENSE Sapphire. This is a big revenge match.
It is a big event match. So RRQ FULLSENSE Sapphire, previously AECL versus the team that took away their ticket to Berlin last year. Now for FULLSENSE Sapphire, there was an interview already with Ginny, how she said that she wanted to bring the girls again to championships and show them that they're able to go a lot further than they did last year. And as for AECL, or at least the girls formerly from AECL, RRQ Kaguya this time around, they want to get that ticket back into their hands to prove to the world that they're able to go far. Now, coming into this tournament, let's introduce our teams that will be competed in this series. Take this.
Tash, you know what? I gotta say that I loved Margot and I miss her, but life happens. But this roster right now of FULLSENSE Sapphire are adjusting really, really well. Alyssa, Baby Teasy, Ginny, Muffin, and Polly. You just saw how they were so dominant against Global Esports Phoenix yesterday. One of the most dominating wins that we've seen so far here at Elite, barring that SMG run a while ago. So you have Polly now really owning the controller role, right? Which she did already really well. She had some amazing plays yesterday, and then we're seeing Alyssa on the Sentinel role and Baby Teasy taking Initiator instead. It works really, really well here for FULLSENSE, and they are looking so good, Tash.
I think what's really exciting to talk about in terms of this team is that they are one of those teams that have insane control as well as insane, I would say, comms as well as movement. They're like a well-oiled machine where every cog moves the way that it should. Now, coming into this game, I have a lot of expectations for them, especially for Lotus. But for now, let's have a look at the second team that will be competing, RRQ, Kaguya.
Now, this team may have struggled a little bit against NWJ yesterday, but they had some amazing plays. Never ever forget what these ladies are capable of. Aluka, Ayumi, Bess, Iceberg, and Nabsky worked so well to be able to come back against Scythe NWJ earlier, or rather yesterday. And this team, it is still part of our big three, right? The teams that have the best chance of making it to finals, especially there is a chip on their shoulder for this series, Tash. As we keep building it up, this is one of the biggest revenge matches that we have here for Elite.
I think for RRQ Kaguya, there's a lot, not only just for them to prove, but more of like for them to achieve. Now, they did have a roster shuffle earlier this year. This is not their usual roster from before. Aneri was previously with them. With the addition of Aluka to the team, I think it really showed a lot more promise, given the fact that Aluka was able to put a little bit more firepower for them in addition to Ayumi. I think all eyes are on Ayumi for her jet plays, for her aggression. But at the same time, I think one of the biggest problems that we saw from RRQ was the mindset of that, okay, we're losing too many rounds in a row. You see Ayumi start to really step up, but it's not in a situation where the whole team is able to be on the same page. Now, for this tournament, I'm sure that they have all managed to really, iron out their problems by now. They had a year to really play together. Now we're going to be seeing Sunset, Breeze, and Lotus, and I'm really excited to see Sunset on the matches today.
Yeah, definitely. We started with Sunset. It looks like it's gonna be a mainstay here for APAC Elite, right? And Breeze as well and Lotus. It's some are newer maps, right? It looks like these ladies are really pushing each other beyond their comfort zone. They say we want to see what you guys have brought to the table here. These maps are in rotation now. No secrets. Expose, your hand, so to say, and let's see all of the cards on the table. So it's really exciting indeed. This is one of those series where I kind of do hope that we do go to a map number 3. But I do have to say, FULLSENSE Sapphire, yesterday, they were looking like that well-oiled machine that we know. And you brought up earlier, Tash, about how they're so good with movement. I absolutely love how they're one of the teams that they can control the pace of the series, not just a map, but the whole series so well. If you can't keep up with them, that's gonna spell disaster for the opposing team. And for RRQ Kaguya, they tend to start a little, or they need to build up steam a little bit more than FULLSENSE Sapphire, right? So this is a little worrisome, I would say, coming on their end, especially since we're going into Sunset, and this is a map where a lot of teams are still getting their bearings.
Yeah, I would say that this map is very attacker-sided. It heavily relies on aggression, kind of like how you would expect it to see from like an icebox match. Now, coming into this game, I love seeing that muffin pick by Ginny, because when you pick what do you call that, harbor, it gives you so much control over the mid side. It covers the entirety of the defender side area, and also gives you full space to really move around this particular pillar. On top of that, when you get on the side as well, you can sort of like break the site into two different, I would say, areas, and you can kind of slow down the enemy and play across coming forward. So Ginny on this harbor, depending on how exactly she uses her utility, can mean the difference between winning as well as losing around. Alyssa as well in that Cypher, I prefer seeing a Cypher on this map compared to a Killjoy, just because a Cypher has a little bit more movement with his trips, with his camera. He can sort of like move up to the mid area, go for those lurks, as opposed to a Killjoy, which feels like she has to play in a certain range.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. And right now we're seeing the usual double initiator versus double controller, right? How well can we break in versus how well can you hold? We're gonna get the answer to that very question as we pass it on over to our casters and into our newest map, Sunset.
Can you feel the weight of this series, my friend? Can you feel it? As it's not just a rematch between, I'd say, the finalists Open 2 versus the finalists Open 3, but a rematch that we saw last year in Elite. The core, formerly known as Alter Ego Celeste, versus the core, formerly known as Extend Sapphire. It's RRQ Kaguya versus FULLSENSE Sapphire this time around. Dax and Quack here with you still, but man, you were there last year. We watched all throughout the year how these two teams have jockeyed for position. You know how intense this series can be.
It gets very, very intense. In fact, I mentioned this yesterday, I'll say it again. Between these two teams, whenever they face off against each other, there's a pretty high chance that one of these maps could go into overtime. Yep. If not overtime, then we'll probably have a 3-mapper, right, Dex?
We'll bring up a bit of recent history. So far this year, FULLSENSE Sapphire has had RRQ Kaguya's number. Ever since they took that slot from the international stage against that old Celeste core, it has been FULLSENSE Sapphire again, and again, until Open 3 happened. And that's when the overtimes happened that you mentioned, Quack. 2 overtime games for RRQ to finally make it to the grand finals in Open 3. This time around, FULLSENSE Sapphire looking to take down RRQ Kaguya yet again with an interesting map pick of Sunset. And this is something we were kind of talking about before the whole day even started. What kind of comps will we get Sunset? On one hand, Sapphire, they're running that double control that we've seen from that 10 Invitational we've so far this year. On the other, RRQ Kaguya, double initiator, wanting to watch out for, raise and fade together plus the bridge.
Yeah, that's always a thing, but I'm still a little bit curious about how Fade plays out on this map, so let's see what happens. And the difference between RRQ Kaguya, between all the previous Opens and Open 3, is the addition of Coach Ducky and how much he's reformed the team and all of these compositions that he makes them play now, sometimes with that double controller, which is why I'm actually really curious. This is one of those maps where we don't see a double controller from RRQ Kaguya. In fact, it's the double controller from FULLSENSE, and right now everyone's just kind of relaying and falling back. Aggressive mid control and then going in for the A push.
Muffin instead moving over to that rather than the raise we're accustomed to. 1-for-1 trade though. Here over at elbow, seems like Alyssa finding Iceberg's number. You're talking about the additions. The Cypher is one of them for FULLSENSE Sapphire. A full tie roster now. This time around, re-added after open 3. Ayumi now dropping on down to find Jinny. Alyssa on the board yet again. And over onto the side. Here comes Ayumi fragging out. Muffin though makes the answer count. And here comes Alyssa to find the final target. It's Sapphire who takes pistol.
Yeah, they managed to break in through really quickly and they set themselves up, especially up around elbow. But also, a little bit interestingly enough, the breach aftershock kind of blinding one of the players for a second allowed for Ayumi to pick up the second frag. Just a little bit funny, but of course, Muffin coming back up huge on top as a Jet, no less. And that's the thing about this map is the duelists, you kind of want that mobility. You want to be able to break into sight that quickly and have some, get out of jail cards for free. But at the same time, we don't have a lot of data on either team, and the teams don't have data on each other for this map.
Yeah, this is the first time either team has played Sunset on the official circuit. And I guess it's most interesting because Sapphire has been wanting to run this even in the last series. It was just banned out by their opponent instead. They moved though towards the B side of the roster. Together, Alyssa though finding best. Ayumi, the classic connection on the 2. And RRQ can look to pick up the pieces from this, but Baby TZ has other plans. Ready yet again. We've seen her flex over to the sky from time to time now with Alyssa onto the roster. And let's see what else FULLSENSE Sapphire can do. 3v2 though. Iceberg with the Bulldog in hand in the back line. Here comes Aluka onto the site herself. And RRQ, a pinch perhaps, big pick from Iceberg, evening up the odds. The fault line there, and Aluka tried to tap away, but the firepower isn't gonna be enough. 1v1 now. Jinny versus Iceberg as time's running out. The cascade in the way, the harbor being such a pest. The turret's there, don't quack, and this is gonna be close with Iceberg. She has to go for the defuse, and Jinny says, peekaboo, I see you. Sapphire will take the second round, but a costly one at that.
Yeah, still clean though, nonetheless. I mean, safely enough. The turret was definitely annoying. When you're down to 20 HP, you're never quite sure if that's going to kill you. Actually, I have no idea if it's going to kill you or not. But it definitely eliminates that angle. But still, without that time afforded to him, I mean, RRQ just had to go in for that stick, and that's why Jinny's able to instantly walk away with that kill. But still, such a close round because of Ayumi and how she kind of made use of Alyssa's cyber cage towards the back of A main. So a little bit pesky at times, but still, this is how strong RRQ Kaguya can be. We're going to the third round now. They have the full bias. They want to make their weapons count, so a little bit more safe. Peeking out. Reckoning from Jinny.
Yeah,
okay.
Jinny's been pretty quick here. If you're on the attacking side, you notice that the orbs are positioned a little closer to you safely, so Sapphire, they can funnel someone with ultimate orbs. You can also let Muffin do God's work to get 2! And that's big damage done by Sapphire already. As the plan goes down. Cyber Cage though, Ayumi can't see anything. Boombot though looking for a target. Gets confirmation to someone close. The paranoia to keep her at bay, but Baby TZ, other plans yet again from the elbow. Big chance here for FULLSENSE Sapphire to keep running away with this. Coves into play as well. And Jinny, oh Jinny, what do you dare do? Flashpoint goes for the hop, and Jinny's just in the right spot at the right time. Breaks the cove now, and Aluka, sure she gets one, but Pauly's there for the trade, and it's another one here for Sapphire.
Did you see how many, walls Jinny put up? Especially around A alley. The first thing was the high tide, and then the cascade, and then the cove. And it's not just a cove as well. The way that she kind of held it so close to the off angle in the corner. And that's the main thing that I think RRQ kind of wasn't quite sure how to deal with. And also, of course, Muffin with her entries, definitely creating space for her team. And with that bonus win, Dax, this is now RRQ 0-3.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, because Jinny was in the position where she didn't get flashed at all. Right?
Yeah,
she was just there.
Not.
Tucked away, and this is the power of double control on a map like Sunset. It's been the reason why it's been run internationally so far, and something to experiment on. Baby TZ though, the Trailblazer that ended the map last series. It's looking for a target now in this round.
Alright, we got Bess at the ready with our Paranoia 2, though. A little bit premature, perhaps, and it's just FULLSENSE Sapphire kind of luring out some of these early round utilities, making it easier for them to attack through. And something that you often don't see is RRQ Kaguya going for early B or A main control, and that suggests that they are, maybe just not looking to play that aggressively yet. The only reason why they did that was when they pushed up mid together as a full squad.
Speaking of mid, already courtyard tiles both taken here by FULLSENSE Sapphire. Pivot perhaps to the market, but instead they're looking their way to make it towards A. Making some noise though, but the high tide can't confirm their from top mid to link they go. Looking to break the turret too, as Muffin now wants to clear as much as possible. In cover, Ayumi sucked away in the rat position. Maybe a chance here, and Ayumi makes her marker count. Showstopper cannot be denied by the Cove. Ayumi with a second, and RRQ Kaguya in position now to fight back. Time running out here for Sapphire. They need to make their way towards the site, but they're stuck here in mid. Best will be sticking it to it, and Ayumi with 4, holding down the line by her lonesome.
Unbelievable. The bulwark of this site. She stayed hidden around generator for the longest time. Found the first frag, instantly pop Showstopper, blast back ups into the air, just as we see in the replay, and continues to hold it down even further. She finds 2 more frags after that initial double kill. And at the same time, her teammates all rotating over towards defender spawn. It completely threw wrenches into FULLSENSE Sapphire's plans. And at that point, without the time, like you mentioned, Dax, it was so darn difficult for them to break through.
Ayumi is pretty much a byproduct of the focus of RRQ Kaguya. If you remember Open 1 and 2, sometimes Ayumi and Alaka would trade roles between one another. With more focus to put her on the duelist role for good reason. Stellar frontline, whether on the attack or the defense. Go again though, Sapphire now on the eco.
Alright, and they're all in position. I love that Best kind of tried to go for a little bit of early control, but instantly Shrouded steps out. FULLSENSE, of course, with just Sheriffs. RQ looking for a bit of early info and just trying to play around this. You can see that on the minimap. Whenever you go for mid control and your opponents are just kind of relinquishing that, you are effectively surrounded in a way. Because at any given point, RQ can just push out and try to wrap around them. So FULLSENSE has to be careful, but they're just pushing straight through market instead.
Stall from the seas, even keeping them at bay. Muffin, of course, wants to lead that charge. Cove in position now, teleports there too. From Polly, and Jinny will find an angle to get the plant going. So the beauty of the harbor, you make that space. But what else can you do from that point on? We'll find out as Muffin and Polly do not disappoint. 2 big picks here from FULLSENSE Sapphire. Rifles also picked up along the way, as you mentioned. And now Iceberg has the angle for Boba, but Polly's a sharp shot. Alaka, though, blowing the Omen up to Kingdom Come. Alaka, maybe another chance here. Comes Ayumi, Jinny so quick on the trade, and FULLSENSE Sapphire, they swarm the site and they take the round with a thrifty.
Dude, 4-1. We had somewhat of a semi-thrifty from before, if not for Ayumi's Bulldog. And then now it's just full-on Sheriffs, and FULLSENSE Sapphire turns things around. And that's the problem with mid-control. If you give it up, yes, you might have a chance, but unless you're fast enough, your opponents get so much space that they just push in from that off angle, make use of market, and they get a free plant on B. And that's something that we saw a lot yesterday coming in from FULLSENSE Sapphire. Always making use of these big and long walls to just cut the site in half, get a free plant, and then from there they can have more options to do things. And that's one of the things where FULLSENSE Sapphire pushes into Boba, and with the sharpshooting they got the rifles.
That's a real call out, by the way. What's backside? It's Boba to me, you know? Probably there's like B, and there's backside, and there's Boba itself. But anyway, I like the point that you mentioned about Sapphire yesterday, Quack, because they picked Breeze, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And you would see them love to play those kind of wall angles, similar to what we're seeing with the Harbor right now with the Viper yesterday. And I think it's curious that RRQ saw that map, saw their play, and said, sure, we'll pick up Breeze for the second map. It's concerning right now for RRQ because Sapphire has been that kind of team that puts the studies to the test in the tournament, and they've been one of the most successful squads translating those scrimbucks into tournament success with the comps that they run.
Really, absolutely so. I mean, the way that they kind of try to adjust around this, and at the same time, I mean, right now, just taking things a little bit slow. Iceberg has an operator, and that's something that FULLSENSE Sapphire has to watch out for.
FULLSENSE Sapphire, they're playing it slower this time towards main over B. And instead, we're watching what Iceberg can do. The op, the utility, and notice that all the utilities towards market instead. They want to make sure that any cross towards doorway will be punished. Everything left the best instead to try and hold things down.
I like the angle that Bess is holding, though. Not fully linearly exposing herself to B main. But here comes, there's that high tide and completely blocks things off. Reckoning deployed as well.
Second one. 2 already in 6 rounds of action. A big average here for Ginny, basically. FULLSENSE, they're funneling those resources well. And Yumi, though, big pick. Baby TZ knows exactly what to spray in response. It's 4v4 for the time being. Trailblazer looking to pick up an order or the Boba. Instead, RRQ stacking up here, lining up to try and fight back. Prowler looking first. Baby TZ over to the corner. Beautiful cascade set up by Ginny. And FULLSENSE wading in the waters. They're drowning the opposition. And FULLSENSE Sapphire understanding exactly how to play this map. Napsky, though, in a 1v2. Can she get it done here for RRQ? That's the question. Ginny, though, looking to hop, looking to get in position now. Maybe a nice way to do it, but Alyssa just crouches ready and just buying time for Ginny to get that kill. Sapphire, another one as they sparkle.
That's just
Give me a moment.
another round to the books. Another round under their belt, and a bit of a feels bad moment for Napsky, if you can look at the replay. I mean, Baby TZ, of course, just sharp shooting. Ginny, like you mentioned with the cascade, just walls on top of walls, and it always holds RRQ back by so much time. But the Prowler from Napsky was kind of, it was lying to her for a little bit. She saw it fly upwards, and she thought that Baby TZ was hiding on top of the boxes, and she went in for a blind spray, but instead it just exposed herself to another angle. Feels bad. We go in for a next round, and it's RRQ buying up again. We've got a Yumi on the showstopper and an aggressive mid push.
Yeah, this is one
doesn't
of the first
find
times.
anything.
Yeah, one of the first times they played aggro, and instead a Yumi will find someone on the cross spawn. There you go. Tal's finding value here for RRQ. They have the advantage on the racing. They have the angle with Alec as well, and RRQ Kaguya tucked away so cleanly. Muffin, though, a different plan right now as he pushes towards CT side. Here comes from the shadows. Rolling Thunder. The play, Muffin avoiding it over onto the corner. Actually, Ginny sticking around on the side, and RRQ letting rip the ultimates. Best though on the board. Here comes Ginny, still on side, still at the ready, and oh, Ginny, she's fine to get 2, but it's 1v1 now. Paulie with a big surprise, and Sapphire still stays the course, man. 6-1 now.
The Jack in the Box, man. It just surprises and shocks everyone. That's the thing. That's why I like what Tash was talking about with the Cypher and the Killjoy, because while a lockdown is an effective tool, it's something that might not be the most useful on a map like this, because it's just, you have so many different places that you can hide in, and it doesn't cover, the area of effect does not cover all that much. Paulie was just right around the edge of it, and Bess unfortunately had her knife out, and of course you gotta bite the bullet because of that.
And I gotta agree with you. Compared to another one that has circle AoE, the Reckoning of Ginny. Let's not forget it moves. Here we go again. It's another one. The Reckoning never ends. The flood of FULLSENSE continues on. And while Alaka fights back, Ginny's there to go for the trade. And the plant to Sapphire again, taking this B side, controlling the angles that they want to.
And this time they were more aggressive and confident with the push, knowing that RRQ Kaguya were on the eco as well. Prowler goes through, Napsky tries to make it happen, and she only gets 1 though. Then the trades, Paulie and Ginny. Same position, same angle, outside, Boba.
Bro, even if they're blinded, even if there's smoke in the way, FULLSENSE Sapphire is a team that knows how to play Sunset. I'm just gonna say it outright.
They prepped this.
Their angles have been sublime, their utility usage has been strong, and the way that they're getting Ginny these ultimates to enable all the map control, all the site control that they need, it's a masterpiece so far of preparation from Sapphire, and RRQ Kaguya is the one lost right now trying to deal with it.
Yeah, I am just so utterly impressed. 11 kills, and she's sitting on top of it. 4 points away from another Reckoning. And now we move slowly towards the A site. Ginny combined with Muffin and Baby TZ. This like semi-pseudo initiator combo. It works so well.
Look, they've had enough. RRQ Kaguya, they had to deal with the Reckoning 3 rounds already. You see their positions, they're looking to go for orb control even, but Iceberg punished immediately. Ginny's still looking to just go for the heist of the orb, and now she's looking for that contact too. Napsky though fighting back, the Seekers aren't enough for cover, and instead it's RRQ Kaguya getting big damage done, 3v2 in favor of the defense. Not only that though, they have to deal down with the neural theft from FULLSENSE Sapphire, giving intel surgeon's confidence there from Bess, but the distraction from Alyssa leads to the kill from Paulie. It's 2v2 for the time being here.
Smoked off Link as well, and that gives them a bit of a possible entry towards the A site. All you got to watch out for is Ali, Aluka, trying to peek around this. Managed to get a tag onto Poli, but the paranoia connects and kind of discourages her from peeking again. However, neglecting to check a Yumi who silently dropped down from Link. It's a double kill to end out the round and to pick up the second win for RRQ Kaguya.
Hey, it's the same angle that FULLSENSE Sapphire took to take advantage of Navsky a while ago, right? Or rather, the one playing onto elbow there for best. Yeah, same angle, same result for a different team. But this is what I'd like to see from RRQ Kaguya. They've had enough of those ultimates coming their way. And you saw the advance over onto A elbow, over onto B main, just to try to put pressure onto Ginny and the rest of the team from setting up the way that they want to.
I mean, they know that that's the thing that they want to counter right now, especially, you know, once they've given up that much space, FULLSENSE Sapphire keeps having their way with things. So it's almost necessary to kind of push out and fight back against it. But what we haven't seen for quite a while is that mid presence. FULLSENSE Sapphire has gone through, you know, just classic B main, A main pushes so far, maybe A split. Hence a timeout right now from Coach Obi, and I'm wondering, is it going to be a slightly different approach to the round? They have, you know, quite a bit of economy going. It's just maybe that the ultimates aren't quite there yet. Well, Ginny is 2 points away from Reckoning, so who am I to say anything?
And look at them. They're already pinging. Okay, guys, we can go for that A, or we can actually go for the push towards main itself into Link. And I do wonder what kind of contest we'll get right now. Navsky, she has a few prowlers to work with to get intel. But will it be enough to set things up well for Iceberg? I'm so intrigued already by the pre-round setup of RRQ, because two fronts are the call. Here comes the Prowler, but the peak is stopped by the smoke, I believe, or rather, just a bit of intel from Baby TZ's Trailblazer. So Sapphire, they're getting away with the push right now to set things up. They're pushing also RRQ to the other side.
And they did exchange quite a bit, but here it comes. We are pulling out of the site. FULLSENSE Sapphire instead making the call to rotate back towards B, but this is where they have to be a bit careful. Rotations haven't been completely pulled over, and a Yumi has a bit of an angle from top mid.
Big utility dump from FULLSENSE early on. Only has one smoke to work with. Baby TZ only has to rethrow it. And it's going to be a bit more of a dry contest here for FULLSENSE Sapphire, if ever, against RRQ's defense. Shells, though, is the play, and a Yumi in the delay does get that kill. A big kick out from RRQ, a second one here from Best, and the setup is strong. Iceberg getting away with the kill out to Baby TZ, but not too far off, as Ginny will make a trade work. So 4v2. Alyssa, the only one in this hemisphere, my friend.
Left.
It's a regroup from Ginny too, but the smoke's gone. Best. Does she find this? One realizes there's contact. Best gets a bit of help, and it's RRQ again who holds things down. 1v4 for now.
Oh, I thought Ginny was going to plant on A, and then that would allow for Alyssa to perhaps pull off a big heist of her own. But here we go, 10 seconds left, and without the best economy, Ginny's going to opt for the save instead.
You know who's the best one for this round? Best here.
Hey.
5 HP, still alive and kicking. And this is what can work for RRQ Kaguya. The firepower has always been something that they can rely on. They have good utility to also stall any kind of push. But the problem has been what they could see. And now that FULLSENSE Sapphire went for such a big utility dump early on towards the A side between the Omen and the Sky, they just lack that extra punch moving its feet.
Very obvious rotation as well, and RRQ Kaguya are definitely prepared for it this time. So 3-7, Dax, and it's a way for RRQ Kaguya to actually come back in the game. They can win 2 more rounds off of this bit of momentum that they've gotten now. Iceberg on the operator again too, but here comes FULLSENSE Sapphire quickly going towards A instead.
I'd love to see a fast hit here, courtesy of Muffin, and that's exactly what they're gonna get over onto main, but the double up is strong. Reckoning, a little too late to the party, but now it's enough for Polly to be the center stage of attention. 3 from Polly, she did exceptional in her last series, looking to do the same yet again as the spike goes down.
And that's just FULLSENSE Sapphire's game plan this time around. It's going fast, going hard, going furious, and they just go in with every single thing at their disposal. Reckoning thrown out, Muffin trying to break it through, and then Paulie cleaning up house. Every single player on the site trying to defend was instantly decimated. 2 players left, and with such a hefty investment, they're going to save instead and buy up for their fallen teammates in the next round.
Dude, that's 4 Reckonings in 11
Yeah.
rounds. That's just crazy to think how FULLSENSE Sapphire has maximized utility here, and it's been the biggest reason they've won these rounds so far. You see the scoreboard, you see how incredible Ayumi has been for RRQ Kaguya. With FULLSENSE Sapphire, they stay away from those kind of fights, and they're rewarded with another round because of it.
Harbor's just such a versatile,
Last round
amazing
in the
agent,
half.
especially for this map. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
you could throw in a Viper here or there, but yeah, Harbor's great, especially when you're attacking. But let's see what happens on the defense. This is now the last round of the first half, and with the weapons that RRQ has preserved, they still stand a chance at turning this into a 4-8.
Yeah, they still have the op. They also have a
Showstopper?
showstopper, as you mentioned, and this is perfect for RRQ Kaguya. If they get the right read, Ayumi might be in the right position. Go for the blast back into the ultimate. Dash into the muffin. Here comes Alaka in position, and there she goes to get that kill. Good utility for Napsky as well. RRQ right now trying to hold down the line for the main, and Bess, she has other plans. Teleporting right now, trying to go anyone to cross the one-way if ever. Here comes Iceberg on board. Polly in position from the back line, and suddenly a wild omen appears to open up the sights.
Wow, from the tall grass, that is amazing. This faux wild omen is just doing so much work, and now she's holding the off angle, blocks off Boba again, and it's a cascade available as well. Still though,
Right there.
Ayumi with a showstopper can initiate such a big fight, and look at how she's pulling off a big old flank from A main.
Yeah, Cove's there. Ginny again trying to find the angle over onto Marketel. High side being sent on up, and that's a beautiful aftershock to keep her away. Now caught out in the middle as soon as the smoke dissipates. Snapsky will nab that kill. Polly on the board, and finally the showstopper let loose, trying to find the juice. Polly, how do you survive that? He's all alone now, and Ayumi will isolate and get the kill. 4-8 though, as you mentioned, Quack. This time around, you're looking correct with the predictions.
Thank you.
Looking to see that RRQ will get this round.
I got a little bit scared. I think, okay,
Switching
it's
sides.
Tasha's broccoli energy rubbing off on me for a little bit, but at the same time, the showstopper just kind of flying past Polly. But towards the end, they managed to secure the frags, and it's just smart reads and rotations from both teams after all. Our panelists and the birthday girl will tell us exactly what happened once again.
Broccoli energy, just want to say. I want to know what kind of energy Polly is surrounded by the way, because that showstopper, I was like, wait, what? How did that happen? But that to say, Polly has been amazing throughout, this map so far. She was amazing in her previous series, continues to be so. And, right now, FULLSENSE Sapphire, we mentioned it earlier, Tash, they are a team that is incredibly fast-paced. They can control the momentum of an entire series so quickly, and we're seeing the onset of that right now.
Yeah, to really highlight that the Harbor pick that was really talked about by the casters has been very, very monumental for how they play and take a site. It denies them a lot of space, it denies them information, it does not allow RRQ to get onto the site. And for RRQ, we see a lot of situations where if they were to push past that util, there's a crossfire pretty much ready by the girls of FULLSENSE, and they just get shot down because of that slow. And if they were to wait it out, you can see that once the high tide goes down, the cascade comes through and it stops them and they choke for another area. And that is why I was really, really highlighting why Harbor is just so important on this particular map. Now, we also talked about that Cypher, and I think Cypher has given a lot of value as well to just deny and just give so much information. But I also want to talk about Polly's performance. As you mentioned before, Polly has been phenomenal. She just came back, and I think that what's really important, that she coming back in this team, playing with her teammates, has been huge.
It's looking grim right now for RRQ, but let's see if, they manage to warm up, build up some steam, manage to make a comeback in the second half perhaps, or is this FULLSENSE's map? Casters, take it away.
Well, we can turn that round upside down if you prefer the RRQ side, because that last round, it went their way. And if you look at the last few rounds here, Quack, 3 out of 4 did go RRQ Kaguya's favor. A chance here now on the attacking side. They still have a good setup for Ayumi, courtesy of Alaka, courtesy of Navsky. Let's see what they can do from here.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you mentioned 3 out of 4, and I think it's really because RRQ Kaguya started to kind of play around the map a lot more. And what they're really trying to do is to funnel and push FULLSENSE Sapphire around, read the rotations, get prepared for that defense. Now that we've swapped sides, FULLSENSE Sapphire might be the ones that get proactive, and they're trying to do that, but Ayumi with the frenzy just chews up Baby TZ.
Yeah, Baby TZ also taking a step too far. The cascade there, slowing out her retreat if ever. And Kaguya It's a beautiful beginning for them on the pistol. Interesting though, they're not gonna actually push the issue. They realize the harbor's around this A site. They'll go for the rotation instead, move towards tiles. Sully tries to check things out from top mid. RRQ Kaguya away on the rotation so far. Iceberg even finding Muffin along the way. And this can be a wraparound towards A here, Quack. And Ginny in trouble. Many forces coming her way. It's Ginny with one. RRQ Kaguya though cleaning up nicely. And as Alyssa tries to stand all alone, it's a 1v3 to end it basically.
At 22 HP. You have to go up against a 1v3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult. So let's see what Alyssa can do. Even our panel chiming in. they know the plan, they know the call, and they know that Navsky has Alyssa's number. A good pistol win here for RRQ.
Yeah, because at that point, like a single shoulder peek, just a tiny pixel, a sliver, and that's enough for RQ to put Alyssa down. 5-8, and this is one of the first times that we're seeing RQ come up huge on the pistol, and it happens because of this aggression from, again, Ayumi. She catches her opponents by surprise, she goes in hard and heavy, and she's sitting on top with 17 frags and 9 deaths.
Yeah, it's been such a big deficit so far between RRQ and FULLSENSE. A big chance now if Ayumi can keep making that space and crossing the lines that Sapphire is expecting. Already the adjustment of the cascade though, you notice it was over closer towards the site a while ago. And now it's deeper into A main, but the action on the anti-eco moving towards B site instead.
Unfortunate. There was Baby TZ with the guiding light to confirm that there is nobody outside of A lobby though, so that's why we're headed towards B. But at this point, it's a little bit late. Muffin's onto the scene with a classic, but all these weapons, the heavy automatic weaponry, it's RRQ, and they've planted down their flag.
Yeah, RRQ Kaguya is a team willing to invest. We've seen them multiple times just buy up the Bulldogs just to have that extra firepower for this round and into the next one ever. Flash still being set by Baby TZ. Muffin using that kind of space. Paranoid though gets a big connection. The Haunts there too, plus the boom bot and the stall potential here from RRQ Kaguya. Unreal offside. Doesn't matter what you can see because they'll make sure the utility will make them dead. The shot to ring now. And RRQ Kaguya a flawless win to boots.
And that's smart plays. A bit of an unfortunate, unlucky guess from FULLSENSE Sapphire around A lobby. But RRQ doing their due diligence, checking the corners, making their way through, making their way downtown. You get the spike fast. Down. Yeah, you gotta walk fast as well. You gotta walk fast, especially when we want to double back into B main and hold the spike from there.
Yeah, place is passed, and right now, the pass has to stop haunting FULLSENSE Sapphire. They pick up the rifles this time around. They only have the light armor, though, given the firepower that RRQ Kaguya has here. The flash comes yet again. Big contest we've seen so far to get that initial intel. Prowler on one side, guiding light on the other. FULLSENSE Sapphire making their names known towards B main.
Right. Just trying to hold this area. Funnels RRQ Kaguya towards mid, where Ginny is lying in wait decks.
Smokes 2, Cascade the answer, and Ginny trying to back away in time. Gets away from Ayumi's sightline. Good check though from Ayumi. The watch out for spawn. From that point on, it's up to them to get on side. It's even better with the page shells. Alyssa, oh Alyssa, what are you even doing there? No chance, no way. This is a site to be taken by RRQ.
Impressive. They just W keyed all the way up mid and then through spawn, through alley, into A. I mean through link, but here we go. Now site being held.
It's just an angle you can't play against. A raise. Muffin though shrugs off the shot. She does get her kill, but Ayumi's found 3 already. Kaguya in position to make this bonus count. Muffin will just back away to save that gun. And this is what I was talking about a while ago. A team so willing to invest early just to have the firepower to punch into the next round. We're getting it here from RRQ.
It's that return on investment is looking pretty good, Mr. Dax.
Yeah, to the moon, to the moon. Skirt,
to the moon. I mean, it's paying off dividends, and right now they get to pick up on some of these dropped Vandals and Phantoms. Oh. All right, we're able to preserve this weapon. Very good, very good. 7-8, Dax, and again, RRQ Kaguya. Oh wow, they actually left the Bulldog player to hunt for that final kill.
Yeah.
If you watch how they hold on the A site, RRQ Kaguya, that's the tricky thing. this site has a lot of elevation, and if you are an Omen, you get to teleport up onto some of these boxes, and it's amazing that Muffin got that kill, but it's just so many players, a full firing squad between you and that spike that you want to defuse.
Yeah, things have changed so much for RRQ Kaguya ever since they decided to be a bit more active around the map. Both on the defense, here on the attacking side, if they can support the W key of Ayumi, it's enough for them to make that base count. Muffin, though, watching success, there's Best in trouble. The Prowler providing cover. We've seen the smoke before here. The one way to keep the opposition at bay, and Kaguya has to back off for now.
Yeah, very good. That's going to last for, I don't know, like 5 more seconds. She spots a bit of a torso. Kind of connects for a second. But still got to consider the fact that the rest of her teammates are only equipped with sheriffs. So as soon as RRQ Kaguya pushes into the other extreme end of the map, if Ginny and Alyssa aren't ready for this, all that effort would have been for naught.
And Ginny's having trouble to even find a place to set up from. Here comes Alyssa now over on the angle. Eyes for cross. Wow. Beautiful tripwire, but it's not enough to hold off RRQ. 3v2 for the time damage. Big damage done. Paulie going for the paranoia. Ayumi's caught. Ayumi's bound. It's 2v2 for now. Does Kaguya stick by this A site? Seems like that's the answer. We're waiting though for Muffin to find the angle. Did you notice the barrel of Best? He's just up there. Notice this now, and full sense with a full clear to boot.
Here we go. I was talking about the elevation, but when you have multiple angles to watch for, Muffin staying alive that long to come in that final moment, it pays off for FULLSENSE Sapphire this time. A thrifty win comes out huge with the trap plays from Alyssa and Ginny as well. That's pretty lovely. But still, I mean, I'm kind of impressed by how RRQ Kaguya's breach utility is actually affecting FULLSENSE Sapphire and their defense. So many times you would see the fault line actually stunning up and concussing several players, and it makes them feel so uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, and not only that, the aftershocks from Alaka have been a big bane towards Ginny and her initial setup. I like the fact that she's putting herself in a position where she might think there's someone sticking around, especially if it's a harbor. Ginny can't get the right trace on the map to get the right wall, if ever, the right cascade angle, and just because of a bit of movement there from RRQ, it gives them their site presence. Still though, if FULLSENSE Sapphire has any other angle to work with, right? If they still have another place of opportunity to go from, then that's what's going to enable the retakes here.
Yeah, just kind of making them feel uncomfortable, but here we go. I mean, FULLSENSE Sapphire seemingly adjusting to this. Now the timeout being called once more by Coach Obi. This is the final one. They get to buy back up, and you know what's our favorite thing so far throughout this map, Dax?
What is it?
Ginny, Harvor. We got the reckoning. It's
back. Here we go again. It's back and it's ready yet again to let it rip. I do wonder though what they're gonna use it for. Is it gonna be for the retake? Is it just to stall RRQ? Especially if Ayumi decides to play the entry. We're gonna find out as RRQ Kaguya go for the 2-1-2 splits. If you know the Sunset, it's still a map technically with 3 lanes. Cross onto the site, over on the tiles especially though, but Best, that's a beautiful pick to begin with. And Muffin has to back off because of the initial presence of RRQ so far.
Painful for Paulie, painful for FULLSENSE Sapphire as well. That's one of your controllers down, meaning that B site might be a little bit weakened. Ginny is here though, but if you pay attention, RRQ has not yet committed the spike to any part of the map. Now that they picked it up, maybe things will change. Oh my god, but the guiding light, they're actually peeking into B-main.
Oh, this is so dangerous, and that is why RRQ have reinforced that position. Cascade, as well as the reckoning from Ginny, and because of it, she's just taking too much time with the utility and not enough prepared with the gun out. Spikes planted, and this is an RRQ round already. A little bit questionable for FULLSENSE though in those final calls at the end of the round there.
I don't know what to say, Dax. Yeah, that was questionable.
Yeah, it's too much pressure, perhaps. I guess the concern right now for FULLSENSE Sapphire is why are we giving up the site like this? How are we going to be able to hold things down if RRQ can get that spike planted? They have the breach, they have the killjoy, they have the raise. They have so many ways to stall a defuse if ever. And what can the double control do against that?
That's right. And again, it's just that initiating ability from RRQ Kaguya right now, and with how aggressive Ayumi is being across the map. The showstopper play on towards Ginny, the way that they held and kind of just stalled around B main, I think, was one of the things. FULLSENSE Sapphire got a little bit curious, and you know what curiosity does to the cat sometimes, right? It just, they start to investigate and they get punished for it. Very painful. We move on, and we just go next.
I love that you downplay what happens to the cat because of the curiosity, man.
You have a cat. I'm sorry,
It's okay.
and Mika does as well.
Don't worry about it. It's just an expression. But you know what I expressed about the series before anything else? It would be a close one. And RRQ
That's
in
right.
FULLSENSE taking on the point. 8-9 standing. Underground left for RRQ Kaguya to tie things up if ever. But Muffin, other plans here alongside Baby TZ. The flash is there, but Iceberg stalling for time, getting away with it after dropping a Nano Swarm. Kaguya instead move towards B, where Alyssa is lying in wait. She has the angle over on the side of Paranoia as perfect as well. And the spray comes on in, Best gets one. Here comes Alaka 2, and RRQ, they take the site away.
A little bit overwhelmed, and Ayumi continues to push up front. The Seekers, it doesn't matter. She still takes down Ginny. Baby TZ comes back in, but everyone's already evacuated the site.
Threading the needle through, the Seekers finds the harbor instead, and there's just no safe haven here for FULLSENSE Sapphire whatsoever. Here comes the tap. Fault line is the answer, and this is exactly what we've been talking about. From the theater, Muffin trying to put on a show against that audience. The turret though is there. Picking up the gun, moving on around 2, and it's a 3v1 scenario. Isolates the first, looks to go for a second, but there's just no way, no how. Credits roll and take about RRQ as they tie things up.
That's one hell of a show, Dax. And once again, it's that breach utility that just flushes people out of position. Muffin trying to make things happen with her blades in that final moment, but just couldn't because she had to reposition herself, and it left her open to her flank. And at the same time, just FULLSENSE Sapphire looking a little bit less coordinated on the defense. If you pay attention to Alyssa, yes, on that angle, but a little bit overwhelmed by that many targets flooding the site. Polly holds a very different position as compared to Bess from when we saw RQ holding a different angle around B. It was much closer to Boba. The corner.
Sometimes I chuckle whenever we have to actually say it, Boba. Yeah, I mean, I gotta
backside.
I like it. I like the call out. I'm just saying though that here for RRQ, the way that they've made that space has given them so many angles to work with, and especially as soon as they get that transit towards the site, moving to the plan, that's their win condition so far. This time around though, a bit of fight back from Muffin and Alyssa. This is the site looking to be taken here by RRQ, the operator getting away in time. Advantage though, FULLSENSE. Prowler the call from Navsky, realizes there's close contact on the other end of Boba here through the alleyway. The phone line there, Alaka has different plans, and you mentioned it, Quack. The Rolling Thunder will bring in the sizzle, and let's see if RRQ Kaguya can find a way to cook up the opposition. FULLSENSE though, they moved on around a different recipe to find success. Muffin already on defuse duty, and the wraparound getting halfway, but the bird from the Nano Swarm will at least stop that defuse. Ginny though has other plans. FULLSENSE Sapphire, they can't get away with it, but Baby TZ steps up when she's needed the most. FULLSENSE Sapphire, it was costly, it was dicey, but in the end, it is their win for the round.
Multiple rotations. Baby TZ with that spray from downtown. Double kill just to collect on that final defuse. I mean, so many things happened in this round. Once the spike went down, RQ continued to push up. There was that Rolling Thunder. Definitely pushed people back. But you can hear and see that light bulb go off in Ginny's mind. Put up a cascade. Let's go down mid instead. We can just ditch this immediately and look for another avenue of entry. And that's exactly how they turned this thing around. 9-10, and FULLSENSE Sapphire is pulling out the big guns.
You can see the contrast for that last round. FULLSENSE Sapphire, they made it down that utility early on. The proactivity from RRQ punished instead by the rotations. And Sapphire, they don't want to let go of this lead here, Quack, but seems like you noticed something.
It's going to be Pulley with aggressive positioning. Paranoia set up. Alyssa may be able to peek off of this, but they got to time this right.
Paranoia for Paranoia. You with the facial too, but best on the board. Here comes Polly trying to play the hero, but she's zeroed in by RRQ and the rest of those forces. 5v3, a site so clear to be taken. And while they're playing a bit safe here, waiting for the flash, Kaguya eventually will make the plant count.
Scout destroyed.
That's the plant going in as well. Baby TZ tries to seize the initiative, gets hit by the boombot instead. Now a little bit exposed, perhaps.
Covering fire though, and Bess is there to protect her teammate. Muffin though up in hand still. It's 2v4 now.
enemy
And
remaining.
such a different angle to work with. Here comes a shot. No room for error. And Muffin will have to back away instead. RRQ Kaguya, double digits awaits them to tie things up.
Yeah, you gotta turn tail. Off is too valuable, but when your opponents just rush through after your fallen teammates on B, that op is as good as nothing. It's just a stick right now. And look at RRQ, they're hunting her down. They've got enough time. Iceberg smells blood. Not quite.
No one. Not quite, unless.
Okay.
Iceberg?
Not yet. Nah, I don't
Oh,
think
she's
so.
hugging the wall. She's hugging the wall. Oh,
Alright.
no side
Oh, look at
plans.
that picture in picture. Nice. Yeah,
Yo.
nothing. So far, so good. Muffin gets to keep that thing. But it's the point that I really want to bring up is that FULLSENSE Sapphire's aggressive B main holds haven't worked out. They have not paid off. It's these positions. Maybe the timings are a little bit off. An early paranoia, and Alyssa peeks out, but Bess finds the frag instead. And I think one of the big reasons for that is also because of Ayumi's paint shells that just get thrown in, and it really makes them feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just been such a attacker-sided half here for RRQ. They feel so much more comfortable making these entries count. I do wonder though, is it because of the newness of the map that the defense does find struggles from time to time? Muffin though, different plan. Ops there, one base into play.
Nice.
And the Prowler, sure, it gets the bite, but it chopped a little too late to save the team. Yumi calls FULLSENSE draw first blood.
And that's a very big pick, especially for FULLSENSE Sapphire. Ayumi gone means that they lose a bit of that tip of the spear. RQ has to look for a separate option now, and they're falling back towards mid tiles. And you can already see FULLSENSE are rotating around this. Yes, top mid has been smoked off, but Ginny as well as Baby TZ could just play around this at any given moment. What I'm more worried about, though, is that B main has been left open. Alyssa has a camera, sure, but this is only information. RQ could still get a free plant off of this.
They don't have the firepower on all the other members of this team, and
30
Polly
seconds
will
left.
pay that price.
Spike planted.
Iceberg, a
Face
beautiful
your
alert.
fear.
Now look for the regroup. The Nightfall is going to be into play too. Kaguya, they back away towards main as per usual. FULLSENSE Sapphire though, the cascade to provide cover. The Nightfall is blinding, deafening, being such a struggle in the first place. The wall drops and down goes Alyssa with it. The Cove's there though. The reload comes on and BTC gets halfway. But the rest of RRQ are there to keep the opposition at bay. Should just be a relaxed round now here for RRQ. The firing squad is set. Ginny, does she dare try to be the hero? It's not gonna work out for her whatsoever. Up saved again, but RRQ finally take this lead.
For the first time, and they're starting to make it count. The hits, the pushes, they are looking so darn good, and FULLSENSE actually look like they are struggling to control the map. Yes, it was a bit of an Eco Bio Classics this round, but the fact that despite Muffin got the first pick, you had players positioned around top mid and everything else, B was still that easily taken by RQ just by simply walking in and finding a couple frags. That bit of a lurk from top mid paid off huge. And now you got to start wondering, is it diminishing returns for this operator? I mean, do we still want Muffin to use it if you're not winning rounds?
And we're seeing this time around all sorts of phrases. We had FULLSENSE Sapphire on the first half. The struggles now into the second. As
Ooh, nice angle.
Basically, the outpace of RRQ. You mentioned it, Pat. It's a beautiful angle and a beautiful pick to do. Yumi falls yet again. RRQ needs to make do without their entry. And it's 4v4, courtesy of Navsky. Trailblazer searching for anyone. Playing close so far. Gets big intel. Finds 3 on site. Salika now. Plant goes down. The flash is there too. Nabsky in cover. Full sense. Creeping in closer and closer. Over onto the backside here. The flash is there into play. Baby TZ trying to get a bit of attention as the smoke is soon to drop.
Uh-oh.
Saw the utility though. They saw the high tide coming their way. And Alyssa now, is she ready? Yes, she is! Confirmation here for FULLSENSE Sapphire. And as RRQ fights on back, they are cleared out by Sapphire instead. Make-A-Wish Sapphire fans, because we tied things up 11-11.
Hey, 11-11. Hey Dax, is that an eyelash? You just dropped an eyelash? You wanna make a wish? No, it's really it's a lovely retake coming in from FULLSENSE Sapphire. Yes, Muffin still on the operator. It's always that opening pick, but after that she kind of loses effectiveness, loses initiative, because she has to fall back. And with that, RQ consistently gets the spike plant. But this time, FULLSENSE Sapphire just hunker down, and they were a little bit more patient. Baby TZ getting clear information off of footsteps, and her guiding light tells her teammates where her opponents are positioned. And then Alyssa, Polly waiting for that dark cover to drop off of A-Link. They went in together as a team.
It just makes such a big difference when they pick off Ayumi first and foremost. And the Prowler pressure being applied again. Muffin, though, getting away with her life barely.
Yes.
Ugh, dangerous angle to be taking those scenarios.
The op again. Now we go back into B. We have Trips and Ginny's here as well, but again, this has been one of FULLSENSE Sapphire's weaker sides, and if they lose this round, it's gonna be match point Dax.
It's getting dangerous here for FULLSENSE Sapphire. They need to prove the value now of the Harper. Yet again, another reckoning to boot, but this answer so quick from RRQ. Not just paranoia, but also the aftershock. Ginny and Alyssa, though, they know where their opponents are gonna cross, and they hit their targets anyway. Sapphire now with the advantage. Plant goes down here for RRQ, though, and Muffin letting the blades fly this time around. Girltef getting intel as well. Many ultimates applied here by FULLSENSE Sapphire so far, and just slice and dice action. Well done by Muffin. Torito broken, Nanoswarm's there to go for cover now, and RRQ needs to spray this well. Iceberg hits her markers. 2v2 for the time being. Lockdown pressure, and it's now 1v1. What can Iceberg do? Lockdown's broken. Here comes Muffin, but Iceberg, exceptional to say the least. 9 HP, and the dream's still alive for RRQ Kaguya. They're on match points.
Just playing Ring Around the Rosie, she sinks the Titanic that is Muffin. Forces the issue. Muffin had no choice but to take down that lockdown utility. And because of that, position given away felt so uncomfortable. The pressure is mounting right now, especially at match point. FULLSENSE Sapphire cannot feel comfortable. They're out of timeouts as well. Meanwhile, RQ are still sitting on theirs. Ayumi has pulled out the operator. The guns and the arsenal afforded to FULLSENSE Sapphire are not the greatest acts.
Yeah. What can Muffin do with the Bucky? She's going for the orb also, but it's a long way to the Blade Storm. No way she can really find it in this round. There's RRQ now, playing it slow and steady instead. You mentioned it, Quack. The op is out, and Ayumi is trying to find anyone who dares peek her.
Being careful about it, too. They really want to close this one out. We've got Muffin hiding inside of a smoke, though. I don't know how effective that's going to be. Oh, they saw her! No!
It's not very effective. And because of it, RRQ, the go signal to make their way towards the side. Ayumi now, going for the showstopper close. Tries to clear out the angles, and that's something RRQ has done in the latter part of this map. The adjustments have been sublime so far for the offense. Can they finish off the job, though? That's the question. Spikes planted, smoke in the way. Maybe TZ realizes best is up on top. Gets that kill short to even up the odds.
Here comes Ayumi, though, still online. Paint shells tossed in just to hold them back. Once it goes off, though, a bit more utility. Flash through, Baby TZ.
Rolling Thunders to play, bounces off to the opposition, and from that point on, Ayumi will cross. Ginny though on the board, Nasky's there too. Alaka providing cover, everything's left to Ginny now. 1v1 yet again, crucial moments will be won by RRQ. 13-11, an incredible comeback into the second half for Kaguya as they take the first map.
And that will be overtime denied. We started off with an 8-4 first half. FULLSENSE Sapphire were so confident at the start, but then as soon as we swapped sides, the defense started lacking, and I mean, you could see everything that just happened, Dax. I just can't believe that this is how it happens. And what a way for RRQ Kaguya to come back. Impressive stuff, especially from Ayumi.
And on paper, right, you'd see for Sapphire so many angles of opportunity thanks to the double controller. But in practice, what did we get? RRQ Kaguya's mid-round adjustments in the middle of the first half, the way that they became a bit more active, it brought them that success into the second. I just love the calls between the coaching, the IGLs. It just really feels like for Kaguya, the demons from last year's Elite are no longer haunting them. And we'll see if the panel agrees with that. Let's toss it over to Mika and birthday girl Tash to break it down.
How different were those two halves, Tash? It was like night and day. It was FULLSENSE Sapphire completely stomping on the attacking side. But when the side switched around, it was RRQ's time to attack. Oh boy, Ayumi coming online was basically the signal for the entire team to come online. All of, like Dax mentioned, the micro adjustments that they made suddenly made RRQ into this machine that could fully read FULLSENSE Sapphire.
I think that when you look at Ayumi in the beginning, especially, like, I think you did see that step up from round one. Like, she was very eager beaver to go, but it didn't feel like her teammates were as ready as she was. So she was able to kind of like really take the stage. She was able to get these multi-frags. She was able to get those picks. But for FULLSENSE Sapphire, I think that they really thrive on the first half because they really understood. It's kind of like how I would say certain maps that some teams will pick that map based on how much prep they've done on the first or second half. But the thing is, I think for RRQ, if anything, they were just a little bit late when it comes to warming up. It took a while for them to really be on the same page, to understand what FULLSENSE Sapphire took to the table, and to really break the cogs that put the machine, which is FULLSENSE Sapphire, together. And on top of that, when you start seeing RRQ just really kind of like press the pedal to the metal, play a little bit more aggressive, FULLSENSE Sapphire was at a loss because it felt like in the first half they relied a lot on that utility to give them the side, to give them space, to give them information denial. But when you have a team who is not afraid to just break through these utilities, just can really run at you, what are you going to do? As it was mentioned by Dax.
Yeah, that was a FULLSENSE Sapphire as well. On the opposing side, right? There were that team that was ready to just break through and everything. And it just felt like suddenly when the side switched, what they had planned for the attack side just didn't work as well on the defense, right? And, like we saw, for example, massive payout from the Harbor pick, right? We saw Ginny with the unlimited reckonings that would come out during the first half.
Oh, she was farming the orbs.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, we're at what reckoning now? But you kind of saw, even the usefulness of the Harbor kind of fizzle out on the defensive side. And then you suddenly saw, the Breach come online. That was so useful. Nabsky also, by the way, had so many set plays that just put RRQ in such a great position, especially when it came to hunting down information for Ayumi to be able to get into prime positions, right? So it was just like, it was just at the slow building of steam for RRQ, and you could kind of see that they were like downloading all of that information needed to get the best of FULLSENSE Sapphire.
Oh my gosh, she
side
dropped
of
30.
FULLSENSE Sapphire. Oh my gosh. She did.
Yeah.
Insane.
I think it's just really huge when you have a player like Ayumi on your team. She really takes a load off your teammates' shoulders, especially if she's able to get those, I would say, those players that would really impact the team. Like maybe they're the controllers or maybe they're initiators. So when you have these players taken out by Ayumi so very early, it gives RRQ a lot of breathing space. And that's exactly what we've seen. And on top of that, Ayumi is not only able to give her teammates space, but also she goes beyond. Like, see how far she pushes out of the site after taking it all the way to CT. Just really deny FULLSENSE Sapphire to be able to play retake at all, especially when she has those big utilities like pain shells, like the showstopper, and she's not afraid to go further. And I think this is a lot that comes into mind when it comes to her and her confidence. Regardless, this was FULLSENSE Sapphire's map, and I think earlier this year, FULLSENSE Sapphire had this huge streak on Lotus. I'm wondering, were they as prepared as they thought?
Speaking of Lotus, are we going to get there? Is this potentially RRQ Kaguya with a 2-0? Or is this a comeback for FULLSENSE Sapphire on RRQ Kaguya's map pick? We are going to find out as we get back into the series right after this quick break.
Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 back that up Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, got down, up, back, up, got down, up, back, up, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got down, up, back, got. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. Got down, up, back,
Welcome back to Game Changers APAC Elite. You guys don't want to know what I deal with backstage or like behind the scenes. Just so much chaotic energy going on here. Just like the chaotic energy that we're probably going to see on our next map, which will be Breeze. We do know that this map has gone through a lot of changes, and generally a lot of people
It doesn't
are really
feel like
unhappy
Breeze
with this.
anymore, guys.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. But we can still expect a lot of aim duels, especially with both of these teams. We did see that RRQ managed to rally back from the onset of FULLSENSE Sapphire, as we saw on Sunset. I'm wondering if that means the momentum is now in favor of RRQ Dash, or can FULLSENSE make a comeback?
This is definitely a good question. I mean, it's such a different map to Sunset where, yeah, both teams can be aggressive on Breeze. I think it's more attacker-sided, but at the same time, Breeze is all about taking space, and this space is usually very, very large. From double doors, there's a big change. They make the door bigger. It's a big area to a pillar, which you guys have to really worry about when you're crossing. And then there's nest that gives you a lot of space from elbow on B side, as well as mid pillar, as well as that little, I don't know what you call that call out, but it's the pillar where it's like a half wall there. Yeah, so anyways, that's what we want to talk about. But if RRQ were to pick this map, it shows that they want to try and win these long range fights, and that's exactly what they want to bring to the table. Ayumi has been very, very sharp with those, but we also know that Muffin can also bring these, I would say, aim duels to the table, especially in the long ranges. I want to see who out aims who in the op fights.
It's gonna be so exciting, especially now that you have Ayumi all warmed up, right? And we did see Muffin with some insane plays earlier on Sunset. Previously, FULLSENSE Sapphire also went up against Global Esports Phoenix on Breeze, right? So a little bit of their playbook was exposed, I would say. Muffin did extremely well in that map, right? She dropped she had 21 kills, I do believe. And I think that we're gonna see something similar here. It is gonna boil down to a lot of those first picks on the side of Muffin, especially if she can manage to, win out duel with Ayumi. That was just such an important part of how FULLSENSE would manage to get the numbers back, right? But RRQ, when they do make those comebacks, it is very special indeed.
I mean, the only difference that we can see from these two teams is just which control they're using. We're having Bess on the Harbor, and this time around, Polly is on the Viper. Now, I was just talking with the casters during the break about how I think that Harbor can give a lot of value. We know that the high tide can cover most parts of the site. We know there's a cove to protect everyone, and also the cascade to really cover up some of the chokes, such as McDonald's, or rather arches, my bad. So let's talk a little bit about Polly. We've seen, I think before Harbor came out, and when Breeze was still around, Viper was technically, I would say, the staple for this map. So it is kind of fun for me because I would like to see how exactly these two agents will be used against each other.
What's your wall, right? Is it poison or water? That is the question. And who is going to be that game changer, no pun intended, for FULLSENSE Sapphire or RRQ Kaguya casters? We're gonna find out. So Dax and Quack, take it away.
Pick a color, any color. What wall do you want? You want the green wall? You got the blue wall. Pick an element. It's all for you. But the show will go on. And contrary to the namesake of our next map, the series isn't a breeze whatsoever. Close first map on Sunset. Let's see if it's gonna be the same yet again. But before anything else, Dax and Quack still together here for RRQ Kaguya versus FULLSENSE Sapphire. So what do you think about this one though, Quack? Because Breeze, something that the panel has mentioned, lots of changes. We're really seeing it for the first time this year here in Elite. And what kind of adjustments do you think these two teams will have right now?
Dude, I think we got no data. We don't know anything. We have no idea how RRQ Kaguya is going to play, and that's the scariest thing to me because we've already seen FULLSENSE Sapphire playing on Breeze. Yes, they won 13-2 against Global Esports Phoenix yesterday. That was an incredible feat. But can you really repeat that? RRQ Kaguya is a different team, and we just saw exactly why that is. They can innovate, they will try different things, and they can adapt to you really well as well. Once Coach Ducky steps in, I mean, there's so many things that could happen. Harbor is definitely an effective agent on Breeze for sure, but at the same time, it comes down to these duelists, and we want to pay attention to Muffin as well as Ayumi.
Yeah, and this is the map where you can get away with a single wall controller compared to many of the other ones. I do want to make an astute observation though so far. I do feel like here for FULLSENSE Sapphire, they have a rotation now on who's playing Sentinel and who's playing Sky. When they're running Cypher, it will be Alyssa. When they're running Killjoy, it's probably going to be Baby TZ instead. So keep an eye out on that for FULLSENSE Sapphire. And we do get now into the pistol round, and the Trailblazer scouting out the window towards B.
Yeah, very interesting. Already, it's that same agent swap again between role swap between Baby TZ and Alyssa, but you know, we're not seeing all that much. RRQ Kaguya are actually respecting and kind of giving them that bit of early space. They're just avoiding these early round utilities and then sneaking through. I mean, you can see what they're doing, making use of this high tide to push into B through tunnel.
FULLSENSE Sapphire trying to play towards backside, but Alyssa caught by Best quickly. Ayumi the same thing. And you might wonder, if FULLSENSE Sapphire dominate the GE, why would RRQ Kaguya pick this map? Seems like they've been cooking up something else in the scrims, in the preparation, and now onto the side they go. Spikes planted, Muff and Ginny have other plans. The Golden Arches are ready now to ring yet again. And here comes a bit of the smokes, a bit of the reconnaissance as well, and Polly catching out Best off guard. Stellar snake bite there to boot. Iceberg with a minus from afar. Where do these land? That's the question. As Polly will find Navs, he gets away in time, and it's 3v1. Tabs come from Iceberg, the swings there. Iceberg gets confirmation. Time though running out. Ginny will trade back evenly. And FULLSENSE Sapphire, they'll take the pistol instead.
Very nicely done. This time the arrows do not blot out the sun. They're kind of dropping one by one, but instead it's just going to be players from FULLSENSE Sapphire simply getting their frags. Clean retakes, they push past, like you mentioned, Dax, the Golden Arches, the reconnaissance afforded by Ginny as well. And this is why I think FULLSENSE Sapphire, they're such a strong team to be reckoned with, especially on this map. A little bit, you know, okay, I'm just going to say it, disappointing that the players on B weren't quite able to anchor it down. But as soon as the retakes came in, I mean, the shots were clean, the idea was right there with the darts, and they managed to make it work.
It feels like the initial angles are a lot closer than expected. And something like Muffin has no fear whatsoever. Marshall Matters in the hands of Muffin. And from that point on, 2 down already here for RRQ. Best getting the orb and backing away for the time being.
Yeah, man, it looks like Bess's knees were weak and her arms got heavy.
Yeah, ain't
The Marshall matters, huh?
Marshall spaghetti? I don't know, man. It's just so interesting that during the first part of these rounds, things look so different on Braze. And then later on, especially if you have the CT side retakes, then that's going to be a bit more akin to what's accustomed to. Muffin knows the angle to play from and knows that she can make that one matter again. 3 for her, Paulie gets 2-2, and that's 2-0 now for FULLSENSE Sapphire.
There we go. I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying, Dax, especially with, you know, the compositions that we have, but the teams are versatile with what they've got right now, and I think that's why we have these specific compositions as well. Cypher can, you know, come in to support the one-wall controllers, and it just comes down to how they really play around it. But so far, what we're seeing is RRQ Kaguya, apart from, you know, playing off of the early pick that they get, it's a little bit difficult sometimes if they get met with a roadblock. And for example, in the previous round, that roadblock would be Muffin. Let's see if she can do it again.
I mean, she's done very active around the map right now, even playing towards mid here. The Yumi now crossing through towards B. They do dare cross the Cypher setup. And over on the backside, Alyssa tries to hold, gets the first, back at the cover in time. Besto walking a very, very narrow tightrope. And because of it, it's FULLSENSE Sapphire making them fall apart. It's 5v2, rather it's now 2v2 as RRQ right back so quickly. Well done by the last two standing. And because of it, it's up to Paulie. Luka Navsky trying to set up 2 angles to work with. Paulie cutting noise, looking for the Cypher if ever. Poison Cloud though into play, doesn't expect Luka right behind her. The shots don't ring the first time, but here on the second, it's correct. 3 HP and 3 kills to boot. RRQ Kaguya make the rifles count.
Wow, that spray at the end too. Tiny bit of a facepalm, but it just shows, I mean, a bit of pressure and things can really fall apart. Alika stayed fast in that final moment, especially around the backside of B, and that's where she really shined because she found those 3 frags. She was the reason why RRQ Kaguya won that round. Meanwhile, for FULLSENSE Sapphire and everyone else, they kind of turned the site into a bit of a jungle gym, jumping up on top of those boxes and exposing themselves to angles, and that's where it really hurts. RRQ Kaguya repeating the hit into B.
Dude, there's so much acrobatics there. Well, Cirque du Soleil, then Cirque du Breeze. Alyssa, though, grounding a Yumi, Baby Teasy. Same kind of case at FULLSENSE Sapphire this time around. We're watching these accurates absolutely count. Alyssa with 3, and Alika will instead fight back by her lonesome. A 1v3 situation. Gets tagged by the camera as well. And as Muffin creeps on closer and closer, there is just no escape when you're stuck there.
A slight adjustment this time. And they've managed to, you know, deal against the push coming through. Of course, a Yumi updraft's on top, and it's just a simple, kind of a micro adjustment from Alyssa tracking downwards, and then just playing around the pillar, able to find those final few frags. Alika trying to play the same position, and that's why Muffin knew exactly where to look for her. So as we move on to the next few rounds, yes, RRQ Kaguya not the best economy this time, but a lot of adjustments, and that's why this is such an intense matchup for that upper final spot.
Yeah, it just gets so neck and neck, and it's up to whichever team gets the better mid-rounding, gets the better adjustments against the opposition. That's how they get these wins, and that's how we saw RRQ Kaguya recover from the last map. I am concerned though here for Kaguya that they're taking so much time trying to clear out both the Sova and the Cypher utilities once they're on site. Those are the moments where FULLSENSE takes advantage of the angles.
It really is. That's why they're kind of positioning around as well. We see that Trailblazer going in to clear information towards B. But again, oh my gosh, on top of Pyramid, Muffin walks with daylight robbery.
I know Muffin's the queen, but she's basically a pharaoh in that situation. In the end, though, Paulie there finding Iceberg is FULLSENSE still with the advantage with the guns. And as Navsky creeps on closer, Cascade is there, but one doesn't care for anything coming their way. GD gets the last 2, and it's 4 now for FULLSENSE Sapphire.
Very much more confident, especially when their opponents are in eco. FULLSENSE Sapphire love to do things like that. But it's, you know, not always the cleanest. Sometimes a little bit scary. Sometimes a little bit risky to pull off such maneuvers. Thankfully, this time it works out. But we'll see what happens as we go on into the next RQ. Not really showing us all that much on this Thrifty for the time being. A timeout now being called by Coach Ducky. I want to see what he has in store.
I think I'm just impressed for FULLSENSE Sapphire that there's so much confidence right now for their defense. Whether it be the anchors of Alyssa, to the second fraggers basically between Polly and Ginny, to the aggressive angles taken by Muffin. As long as Sapphire can keep RRQ Kaguya at their toes at the very start of these rounds, it's going to go a long way on this first half.
Do you think it's kind of like that defending champion confidence, like the same FULLSENSE Sapphire that we saw from last year? Because what I really liked from last year was when they, basically counter-shredded the heck out of Alter Ego Celeste. And right now, because we don't have data on these maps, it's that much more difficult than. I'm not sure, it comes down to the adaptations that they have in store. And what we saw from round 4 onwards definitely looked good. But I have a feeling RRQ Kaguya have something up their sleeves.
Yeah, I think for FULLSENSE Sapphire, compared to last year when they became champions, the writing was more on the wall, that they impressed even more so into those final few tournaments before Elite, that they were already putting Alter Ego Celeste in trouble again and again in those series. This time around, I feel like between SMG, FULLSENSE, RRQ Kaguya, Orangutan X, those are the top 4 that each one of them have to watch out for. So there's so many more targets right now for Sapphire. How do they even focus on a specific matchup? Well, right now, they're getting away with it, or they're going with it through a good start in these maps.
Yeah, it's always that good start. Hopefully they can hold on to it. It's hard to say. RQ is a very formidable opponent.
I've got your trail.
Right now, if the operator Muffin's looking to get out of jail and maybe walk away with 1 free frag, but unfortunately it's not meant to be. Toxic Screen, Seekers, it all pushes her away.
Snake bites there too, though. RRQ that way for the time being. They cross towards the K instead, and the blades out as you mentioned. But Yumi, absolutely no fear, confidence now to take the sight away. Hunter's Fury though providing pressure. A counter Hunter's Fury as the bows do cross. But Yumi picking up the operator and picking up the pieces from that point on. RRQ looking for the plant. They have a big advantage so far as Ginny makes those shot darts count. It's 4v2 though. It seems like it's time dwindling just a little bit. Get the plant down. They have the long angle with the op also. But check out where FULLSENSE Sapphire is stationed. They're trying to go for the double up if ever. The high side being such a good bother instead. Recon Dart needs to broken, gets the scan anyway as now takes advantage. And with Ginny all alone, bringing a bow to a gunfight never works out for you. It's RRQ with their second round.
Not so much. The bullets hurt a lot more, don't they, Dex?
Yep.
I mean, it comes
Technology.
down to... Technology. Blades, the knives don't really work in a gunfight either. Especially when it's RRQ Kaguya who hit the site with such decisiveness. I mean, maybe a little bit of a delayed push. They cut noise and held out around cave and shops for a second. And then pushing in with a coordinated hit. You can see that it's the high tide. And this is the impact of Coach Ducky's timeout.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted to say. Just off the timeout, RRQ Kaguya bringing out a completely different look from what we've seen for the past few rounds. And I do feel like you've been mentioning it so far. It's been such a big change up in the backline, in the coaching front, that has helped out RRQ to really become the best form that they've ever been, ever since like Open 3.
Really, really the best. We shall see if it continues to persist, because for now it's still a 2-round deficit. And FULLSENSE Sapphire trying to switch things up a little. Relatively similar positions from before, though, and Baby TZ's looking to, pull out that Trailblazer. She always does this around, the 10-minute mark. And this time it gets shut down, so it's a bit of information. Now we're just wondering about the A site. Polly's still here, Toxic Stream comes up, decays them for a second, but Ayumi's still able to infiltrate.
Trailblazer's there, and Polly in position now. Try and fight Ayumi though to swing. Caught by Polly. Holding close still, but behind her, Alika takes advantage. Here we go again. RRQ Kaguya trying to take those moments. And Alika with another one as Ginny finding best along the way. Up, still out though. Muffin trying to at the very least catch Navsky on the cross. Spikes planted. Back onto those defaults. Get the slip. Alika! Again, the opportunity coming her way. Alika being such a big player in this round. Can she find the forts to seal the deal here? Alyssa, though,
6
crossing
rounds
already. Just holding close towards the pyramids, crouching around the timing that could have been ever so closer.
6 bullets.
But 6 bullets, you mentioned it. It's gonna be critical here, and as time dwindling, Alyssa running out of angles, running out of chances. Alika basically
Goodbye,
playing
Sapphire.
with her
You will
opponent.
not win
Iceberg
this.
taking the opportunity instead, and RRQ are 1 away from tying things up.
What is this? We're like hide and seek around the pyramids. This is a playground, Dax. And again, I mean, you witness the greatness of RRQ Kaguya now, and it's the positioning that they have, very similar to what we saw from kind of how SMG held earlier on. It's that way that, you know, you orchestrate the firefight in such a way that if your opponents are forced to take a fight against you, you always have a teammate at a separate angle backing you up. And it forces your opponents to look in so many different directions. It's so tough for them to fight back. And that's why you cannot let RRQ Kaguya get the spike down.
Yeah, it's the chaos of Breeze in general. When you're so focused in versus one target, sometimes another player can be on the off angle against you. But in a direct firefight, the better gun wins. RRQ takes the decision now to play from the top and push towards the site itself. Trailblazer into play too, providing pressure and catching out easy. From that point on, the push here from RRQ is clear cut. They make it even easier now with the neural theft. Ayumi here again with the backstab onto 2 more, 3 for the round. Wanting to get the 4th. Cascades there. The spray down is through, and RRQ have tied it up with the flawless.
I mean, surely it was a bit of an eco, but nonetheless, making it flawless as well. Now the economy is flourishing for RRQ's side. We've got a Yumi with Blades afforded to her as well. Yeah, buy her for shorty, why not? And we keep seeing how successful this A-site hit can work because of a Yumi, you know, tailwinding into the sides of the pyramids. Her teammates always there to back her up. That high tide as well, just giving them that much more space to confirm and work off of.
And I want to say that Ayumi from that last map, she got 30 kills, man. She's ready now to be back into the same kind of form this time around. Utilized towards A, and instead all the action coming to the front here at B. 4v4 as a single pick comes both sides. But without Ayumi now here for RRQ, it's going to be a bit tougher to play the entry.
Yeah, even with the Viper's Pit up around A, I mean, maybe we can use this angle for something else later on, but if you have Napsky just going in for a flank, that's going to be a little bit pesky. Snake might good stall, but look at the reconnaissance coming through.
And it's not only that, Alico was isolated because of it. Iceberg had to wade through just to support, and RRQ, there's no fear, but do they have the angle from the top side? Alyssa taking advantage like a watchtower, but in the end, RRQ still stand the fight. 2v2 with lower HP. Alika in a critical state if ever. Has to reload, and oh, baby TZ distracted by the 1, found by the 2nd. RRQ takes this lead.
And once more, while we had started out with FULLSENSE Sapphire doing a little bit better, RRQ Kaguya, off of Coach Ducky's timeout, suddenly comes back in full. 4 rounds, 1 in a row, Dax. And their economy is still looking pretty darn good. And it's the same site hit again and again. And it just kind of falls apart for FULLSENSE, especially once that spike goes down and they're not quite able to hold or defend against a Yumi who is online and pushing through really aggressively as well.
Yeah, she's getting all that space, man. And I want to just interject real quick. Despite Polly getting some good snake bites towards doors, towards shop, we've seen RRQ Kaguya make the best out of a bad situation and decide to push just to reinforce those 1v1s become 1v2s to timings that FULLSENSE Sapphire don't expect, just because RRQ dares to try and cross moving towards these sites.
Surely. And it's all these tiny micro factors that kind of dwindle down and hurt FULLSENSE Sapphire in full. And at the same time, like, you're watching some of these shots and these firefights, and it hurts when you see like tiny bits of bursts and whiffs, and the targets are so darn far away. 4 to 5, Dax. 4 to 5. Okay, what is a Yumi? Did I see a bulldog for a second? All right, we're going for Sheriff Blades right now.
Yeah, it's a Blade Storm instead. A different letter B here. But speaking of B, seems like B sides the pressure for RRQ so far and FULLSENSE. You have Alyssa, maybe TC trying to go for the close hold. Only one with a rifle right now is Ginny playing towards mid. firepower. RRQ try and run away with it. What an assassination though by Baby TZ. No fear whatsoever. But can this criminal get away with murder? The Trailblazers sticking them looking for another target. Baby TZ with another one. And from this point on, they have the advantage. Confidence about here for FULLSENSE Sapphire. Jinny now with a push even. And that's Navsky's all alone. Jinny's there for a third. Critical damage on basically a thrifty there. Done by FULLSENSE.
A bit of a hero vandal, but also just that one moment of courage, that one act of courage. The only time that you can be brave is when you are afraid, and Baby TZ steps up to the plate, puts one bullet, and assassinates our opponent right there and then. And with that, it really stifles the push coming out from RRQ Kaguya. I mean, such a great read coming out from FULLSENSE Sapphire in this round. And, you know, you can call her a smooth criminal, a smooth operator, whatever it is. Baby TZ did it all. We move on to the next round, and RRQ Kaguya makes an adjustment to go to mid instead. And Muffin's gone.
And they were so prepared for it. They even threw the cascade along the way just to make it difficult for Muffin to disengage. They have the advantage. They move towards A. They're just waiting out for the gas, the wall to drop itself. So FULLSENSE Sapphire.
I suggest you move.
They're trying to go for the hole. The Reckoning's there, but it doesn't find any targets initially. Smokes come in, the high tide's into play, and now RRQ take the site.
Hunter's Fury comes in as well. But look at this. Okay, Ayumi trying to sneak all the way through. The Hunter's Fury connecting onto her revealed all that much. Spike finally goes down. The Recon pings up a little bit too. The rest of RRQ are just holding out from Cave.
And because of this FULLSENSE Sapphire, now they get the intel, now they know that it will be that cave hold from the top. And as Best tries to get back to the cover, Trailblazer gets the crunch on. So far, over onto the corner, and Baby TZ waking up when she's needed the most. Alive in the last round, looking to do the same here into the next one. Alyssa already on DP's duty, they line up for Shinny, and now she's the only one standing. No way, no how, FULLSENSE Sapphire retake this lead. And I gotta say, Quack, it's a thin line between the aggression and the overheat. FULLSENSE Sapphire finding the punish in the past few rounds.
Last round before the switch.
And the adjustments coming out from both teams. That's why momentum is such an important factor right now. Thanks to FULLSENSE Sapphire winning that many rounds in the first first 5 or so, they managed to have enough in the bank that we can potentially end this with a 6-6. Both teams pulling out all the stops right now. It's operators on both sides. Natsuki's still available with the Neural Theft. And I think RRQ Kaguya might just need to, or might just try to tamper with their aggression. Maybe slow it down for a little bit.
So ready for Muffin, peeking early on,
quick.
and they hit a bullet. They do some damage over onto the Jets, but has to back away and burn the dash. That's one thing we've noticed from RRQ Kaguya. First fights, they're very ready for it, and watching Navsky now, trying to see if anyone dares play towards side, towards elbow. Neither side giving an inch, though.
I mean, I can see her being here to try to punish Baby TZ, who repeatedly throws out utility around the mouth of B main. But this time, FULLSENSE Sapphire are playing uber safe. They're so far back that they might just have to go for a retake instead. Here comes the hit, and if they don't anchor well, this could be it.
Alyssa playing with the Cove even. Baby TZ has brought the Odin to this round, and suppressing fire is the answer here for FULLSENSE Sapphire. The water though, keeping the blockade on. Jinny finding her target. Best with the answer. It's 3v2 as Navsky still has the operator in hand. Well, on side, Baby TZ will find her target. Here we go yet again. In the past few rounds, it has been the Baby TZ show. And this now, leaving everything to Navsky. An up in hand and a 1v3. Crucial moments and the pre-fire into the burst. Baby TZ with the 3 and FULLSENSE Sapphire and the half of the lead.
Switching sides.
Large caliber bullets taking down large caliber opponents, and you just gotta stand by to get some. 7-5, we end this first half, again with a lead, but will it change as we move on to next? Our panelists will tell you exactly why and what.
Did I detect a hint of a southern accent there, Mr. Quack, but it was very well done, I might say, but well done indeed for FULLSENSE Sapphire to be able to get that comeback right after that crucial timeout. RRQ Kaguya, though, they were building up that steam, right? It was just good that, you know, FULLSENSE Sapphire had that sense for the timeout because, you know, it seemed like once they made that comeback, they had more confidence, they had more sense to check their corners and anticipate what RRQ had prepared for them, which, by the way, was quite a lot for this first half, Tash.
Yeah, I think that in this situation, a lot of time it was more of Ayumi's aggression that kind of like put RRQ ahead of the curve. But I think that for FULLSENSE Sapphire, understanding that Ayumi will be the one to just try and take up more space and punishing her for it, this allows them to take more space, this allows them to go aggressive, and it punishes them for even trying to overextend. And in a lot of situations as well, we're starting to see that clockwork sort of play come through again, we start to see a lot of teamwork come through, and I think for FULLSENSE Sapphire, it's just a matter of just trying to build up steam. Perhaps in the first game was not the game for them, but the second one looks so good. It's a little bit more, I would say, dominant in their favor. And on top of that, putting away Baby TZ from her Sentinel role to an Initiator, very fun to watch.
Yeah, I absolutely love the switch from Baby TZ, right? He is absolutely flexible, and plus, I like that she has this renewed aggression as well. She's not afraid to suddenly, you know, go forward and everything, and we're seeing it right now in all of these crucial rounds. She's usually that playmaker. We're gonna see, though, if Baby TZ and all of her powers and all of the FULLSENSE powers can manage to close this one out. Are we going to map number 3, or is RRQ Kaguya going to seal this out? Casters, over to you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you there, Pod. We're from the south here now.
Thank you kindly.
Hey, there you go. That's my cowboy there. Hey, I'm Quack. But of course, we are still going forward for the rest of the game. 7-5 standing. Our panel did mention it. Baby TZ waking up, especially in the last few rounds. Ginny, of course, having a strong game as well so far. And it's RRQ now. They're going to be on to the defense. What do you expect here, Quack? Because I do feel like for RRQ, with the Harbor, they can be a bit more proactive and look to challenge early on.
Exactly. I love that you brought that up because the one difference is that RRQ is a team that loves to go for this, and you are always a little bit scared to go up for a duel against a Yumi. And not just a Yumi, right now Alaka as well. This was not the story against OGX yesterday, so FULLSENSE Sapphire has to rethink some of their decisions. They cannot go for the exact same game plan, and you know, if they don't adjust around this, then we might lose the pistol, and it could be a very different story, Dax.
Yeah, there's been a lot more fight here from RRQ Kaguya, especially from Navsky, who's solo anchoring around this B side so far. All eyes on her. Gets the tag already with the camera. To play two, and inside the smoke, it's Muffin, who just dashes in and takes her life. A big pick now for FULLSENSE Sapphire. Iceberg also in trouble after the scan. Has to back away from the ball. It's a plant here for FULLSENSE.
Yeah, a bit of a collision as Muffin dashed in that way, but here we go. Retakes coming through. High tide, just to cut things in half. And everyone tries to surround it and push through.
Oh, Pauly's edition though in FULLSENSE Sapphire. Great angles versus archers, especially Alaka now under pressure. Bez here making her way towards the back of sight. And as the wall drops, Alyssa's there, just out of her field of view. The pistol won here by Sapphire.
And again, that's that game plan that you love to see. The coordination from the teams. Of course, great entry from Muffin, and we saw that yesterday as well. But after that fact, it's separating and taking care of their own individual quadrants on the site, because B is effectively a square, and once you have each and every single one of those angles covered, again, your opponents have to look in multiple separate directions, and it's always a little bit overwhelming when that happens. And now we can see exactly the effect of that. Although the early round aggression from RQ dissuaded FULLSENSE Sapphire and encouraged, like, funneled them towards B instead, it's still something that they can make use of, FULLSENSE Sapphire, to fight back. And now that they've got the guns, you know, it's potential 9-5, Dax, I think.
I mean, if you get a pick, especially with the first kill just like that, then you know where the confidence from FULLSENSE Sapphire is coming from. A big pick now towards mid, a side taken towards A, and it's pretty much par for the course for the attackers yet again.
Alright. Spike goes down, of course. We gotta watch out for mid doors. RRQ Kaguya just trying to poke and prod across. Of course, not necessarily wanting to give things up, but Bess needing to take a fall so that her teammates could look to secure other points of entry instead. I think they're just going for exit frags at this point.
Yeah, seems like it. If ever they back away back to attacker spawn, it will be the likes of Navsky and the rest waiting for them. They break the tripwire actually. And because of this, this should be FULLSENSE Sapphire pushing into defense spawn instead.
Bridge,
yeah, so...
And RQ dies to the spike?
Yeah, okay. Just...
Keep watching the angle. You might be able to get an outplay.
Here we go again, the exit frags. You think about it though, just a single domino falls. And it just cascades into such a big ripple effect.
Oh,
It's so deep,
Dax with the ripple effect.
That's called overanalyzing. It's like you go to English class and someone, the author
Why is the
writes...
curtain blue?
The sky, yeah, exactly. The curtain's blue, and the author just meant the curtain's blue, and you're always like, oh, it's a symbol of their mood.
Melancholy.
Yeah. What's that term? Calicles or whatever. Anyway, so Valorant's happening.
Yeah, it's a full buy happening, Dax. Thank you very much. And right now, RRQ Kaguya, I never ever want to count them out because they can always come back into games in the craziest fashion. FULLSENSE Sapphire need to be careful because that's exactly what happened on Sunset, which was their map pick after all, so gotta beware.
Yeah, as soon as the guns come out here for RRQ, yeah, it's their best chance to actually try and come back to things. Shinny finds a Yumi. Big damage done, breaking her armor along the way. The Rigo's there to help her out and top her back to full. So at least RQ, they know now the B side is going to be under threat. The Owl drone's there too to get that intel, but Baby TZ hacking away with a Spectre from afar. Control from FULLSENSE, and even more so now as they get the advantage. Alyssa gets a second along the way. Iceberg catching Muffin towards the cross over onto wall. The damage though has been done. One side isn't enough to get the round. Best though, other plans with a double kill. It's 1v1 for the time being. Best actually rotate towards A.
30 seconds left.
Seems like she's gonna back off for now. And instead, only planting towards B side here.
Well, Bess is 10 HP though, Dax. So she could attempt to go for this retake. It is controller versus controller, so there's a lot that we could do to kind of reposition ourselves. But the difference is a bullet and a dream.
Bess has basically, but Polly has the angle instead. Shrugs off the initial fire, and FULLSENSE with a big win on the bonus.
My goodness. And I'm impressed. It's first of all the hit coming through from B, but Baby TZ and the rest of them making it a bit of a split push and starting things off with a Spectre kill at long range. I didn't know that that gun could do that. Like how do you control the spray like that? I mean, she's tapping away with it. That's impressive.
That's just Baby TZ things, and yet again, it's been a factor so far on Breeze from what we've seen. Distract with one angle, use the other off angle to get the attention and get the advantage. And speaking of FULLSENSE Sapphire, there are just no breaks right now to the pain train they're inflicting versus RRQ. A big pick to begin with. The pop flash is there though, and Alaka wanting to make a play out of it, but Iceberg now maybe ready for covering fire. The flash comes in from Baby TZ. The light ice there too, and then as the Trailblazers scout with the Owl drone, is it enough for Muffin to push in? Yes, it is. No fear again from FULLSENSE Sapphire. Into the waters they go cross, and as the wall drops, they will also find the rest of RRQ. It's a flawless win for FULLSENSE.
Chewed right through him, Dax. Quadruple kill for Muffin in that round. She surely has, or is at least close up to her Blade Storm right now, given how that round just played out. I mean, yes, it's a little bit of just counter plays coming in from FULLSENSE Sapphire. The bonus round win, and then this one. They've got a lot of momentum right now, and it's also the fact that they're confident in how they want to read RRQ Kaguya. They're on an eco. They're definitely going to peek us, and they held that angle.
It's just such a signal play. As soon as we dash in, as soon as we get this angle, drop the wall, right? And we've seen this for FULLSENSE Sapphire even on Sunset, moving especially onto the attacking side. the way that they're coordinated, sometimes really the set plays that we've seen so far from them have brought them to success. And look at this scoreboard right now, Quack. 7 rounds in a row, including the 3 from the first half.
Right.
Everything is going FULLSENSE Sapphire's way.
When things like these happen, I mean, that's why the timeout is necessary. But I gotta think and beg the question, right? Are those demons from the past year haunting RRQ Kaguya again? You know, it can never feel good when you're on a bit of a loss streak like this, but when you have your economy back up and ready, you gotta buy up and you just gotta nut up or shut up. Go in, try to make something happen, and if you can win some rounds, and then we can start seeing a comeback like what we saw in Sunset.
Yeah, they exercised it on the first map, but of course, it's still a presence that's been haunting them again and again and again. From last year to now, FULLSENSE Sapphire is the team that has had RRQ Kaguya's number. The stats don't lie, the history is looking to try and repeat if ever. A big chance here for FULLSENSE Sapphire to try and tie up the series though, as Ayumi has other plans. The Angel of Death with the Operator, smited though by Muffin in response. And here we go again. The positions from FULLSENSE Sapphire. The proactivity to even move towards Arches and get that angle, giving them the advantage.
A bit of a phantom spray coming up from RRQ just to try to wrestle back a bit more space this time. But again, you talk about those positioning as proactive. Muffin's still here.
Oh, Bess finds the track eventually, but Baby TZ up in hand. Sheriff's there too, and it leads now to 2v1. Crossfire being set though, and Bess other plans on his backside. Well, can't even make it as Pauly's prepared. Again, FULLSENSE Sapphire now on match points, but with more angles in these rounds, man. I just can't get enough of how FULLSENSE has been positioning throughout the half.
Certainly. I mean, it's that bit of momentum that allows them to play around and make things like these happen, but also that B-split push that is so successful. Coming in from tunnel, they get a little bit more of an angle, especially when opponents are RRQ are trying to anchor down and defend from back of pillar, and that's why they get exposed. So you got to think about this. But here we go, match point. RRQ just buying up wherever they can get, half shields all throughout, and FULLSENSE Sapphire with 4 ultimates. Here we go.
Yeah, RRQ Kaguya, they'll make do with what they have here. They have at least all the rifles they can work with. They're holding with the harbor towards A. Sapphire and take flight noise. I'm gonna go for that mid contest. And I do wonder if Ayumi does get
I've got your trail.
play an angle this committed. The Seeker though into play. Already exposing her initial position from this point on. FULLSENSE, they're crossing into A. Pauly and Muffin. Here comes FULLSENSE Sapphire. Hunter Fury making noise, putting pressure, and just catching Bess off guard too. This is the Sapphire that we have expected. This is the Sapphire that has been at form. And in the 4v1, there's so much work that needs to be done here by Navsky. All alone now. Positions yet again taken here by FULLSENSE. Closer and closer, catching out Pauly off guard. The swing comes, and eventually it will be Alyssa to end it on a high note. FULLSENSE Sapphire in full control this time around.
Yeah, good little bit of an attempt from Navsky in the last bit there. Getting a first frag, anticipating the subsequent peaks, but that said, still, FULLSENSE Sapphire in full form that way. Jumping up on top of mid, catching Ayumi down below, and then the Hunter's Fury as well. We get the sight. Oh my god, this is what the tie casters say is swai. Like, it's amazing. It's like nice in Thai, you know what I mean?
Guys, seems
I'm
like
learning.
Quack is learning a lot of Thai recently. I do wonder why, but of course, our Mr. Pacific, who's also Mr. Worldwide, making such a good point because it was just all FULLSENSE in that second half. Let's toss it over to the panel to break down what just happened and give a bit of thoughts on Quack's linguistics also.
Thank you very much, Dax, and sawadika to Quack.
So good! Quack, you should become a Thai caster.
Thank
You're getting there, you know?
I do agree. I agree. I think you've been spending extended time in the Thai region, of course, and picking up a few things. And that's why I think, like, right now, Full Sense Sapphire being that Thai team, making a lot of sense here for Quack to be able to side with them just because they're looking so dominant once again. Tash, we barely saw almost any spike plans. Like, I don't even remember, like, it wasn't even that, like, memorable or that notable just because the aim duels on this map were so intense.
Yeah, when we talk about Full Sense Sapphire on the attacking side, number one, this map is already very attacker-sided. You have a lot of space to work with. Number two, Full Sense Sapphire knew how exactly to abuse the new changes to the map. We saw how Baby TZ Muffin was able to jump up near pillar and able to just play around with Polly's wall. As soon as the wall went down, she was able to get 2 picks. The way they take a side is just so aggressive, and they know exactly how to abuse and aggress at the right time. And I think this is the reason why they were all right with letting RRQ pick this map in the first place. We have seen them play this map. They know how exactly to do it. I mean, we did say that some of their playbook has been leaked out, and I think that was probably the reason why RRQ picked this map, because it's like, okay, perhaps we can counter-strat them. But what they didn't realize was that on the dominant side, which is the attacking side, was that Full Sense Sapphire was basically so good at not only taking up space but denying so much space to the point that who's actually attacking, who's defending, who's doing defense here.
Yeah, it was also like, how I guess like you have the 2 controllers on either side, right? You have the Harbor versus the Viper and all that utility. And whereas like maybe Harbor's utility might be a little softer, you needed that Viper utility to be able to like really put a hard stop. And I think that like, RQ Kaguya, they did have a lot of good ideas. There were a lot of instances where like this was, I mean, like the scoreline might look like this at the moment, but this was a very close match.
Yeah, the rounds are very close. It just came down to the wire, the last 2 players, the last player, excuse me. But I think in a lot of situations as well, when you think about this game, or rather RRQ, on this map, I would say they're not as flexible that what we saw on Sunset. But for Full Sense Sapphire, knowing that they're able to abuse these long-range fights, these angles, these corners, the utility, it works out so well in their favor. And I have to say that this is definitely, Lotus and this map is definitely the 2 maps that you want to be careful when it comes to Full Sense Sapphire. Now, Muffin will be the MVP here, 16 kills, not as as like what we saw on Sunset with 30 from Ayumi, but still, she did the impact that she needed to do. She got that space. She was able to really abuse that off angles as well, especially on A-side pyramids. And I really love how versatile she is. That's why I was wondering whether or not we were going to be seeing a chamber, because Baby TZ before, she was one of the best chambers and sentinels I've seen. So I was kind of hoping she would bring it in. But the Sky that she brought in, a change in her role, really caught me off guard. And she shows me how flexible she can be in terms of her agent pool.
Well, Tash, it looks like we've got our answer. It is the first time we are getting a map number
Broccoli
3
buff!
here for APAC Elite. Yes, the broccoli buff brought it in indeed. We do have a series, ladies and gentlemen. Do stay tuned because we are going to get into Lotus right after this very quick break.
Remaining.
Secrets.
Headshot. 30 seconds left.
Got the money in the bank.
1 enemy remaining.
Hit you with the Show me what you got. Back that up, 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 back that up.
Welcome back to Game Changers APAC Elite. Backstage is just super chaotic. But, well, Tash, the casters did mention that we have plans. We have plans indeed to get into map number 3 right now. It's going to be Lotus, which is going to be very interesting for both of these teams. FULLSENSE, Sapphire, and RRQ Kaguya at it once again. As we were saying earlier, this is a revenge match that is as old as Game Changers APAC is,
Aw,
right?
man.
And right now, I think that, coming into Lotus, I feel like, it's gonna be really close indeed, just as these two previous maps have been.
I was kind of hoping you would sing like "Till us all this time." But anyways, let's talk a little bit about Lotus. So now, historically, in the beginning of the year, Lotus was heavily, I would say, FULLSENSE Sapphire is very strong on this map, and it was to the point that a lot of teams couldn't beat them on this particular map, except for SMG, where even then it was a very close match. So we could say that their prowess on this map, phenomenal. Now RRQ going for defense first. I think that for Lotus, it is a little bit more attacker sided, because not only does it have three what do you call it? I think three sides. It also gives you a lot of space, especially toward A side. So I'm kind of expecting to see a lot of skirmishes to happen right at A rubble. We're gonna be seeing which player will have the best lurks. I'm looking at Baby TZ right now, but the thing is, I don't know if Baby TZ will be running the chamber, because for me personally, chamber can do pretty well on that map because the trips can give a lot of value. We've seen some really long range fights happen at C as well as A. But at the same time, the value a Killjoy can bring, or even the value that can bring in terms of like stopping those rotations or those lurks, can be pretty big as well. The lockdown is especially important for retakes, so it's really hard for me to really figure out which agents will be coming up on the screen, because I don't think Lotus has had any changes so far. And I think that if anything, we can just go back to basics, go back to the classic what we saw earlier this year.
Exactly. As we're getting into Agent Select, and yes, there you have it. A big question of mine was actually whether RRQ would pull out the double duelist, and yes, indeed, they do exactly that. Meanwhile, FULLSENSE Sapphire here favoring a double controller instead, with Alyssa and Polly on the Omen and the Viper respectively. This is gonna be interesting because
she's back on Killjoy. Look at her.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
Baby
she's
TZ back on the
good.
Killjoy.
She is huge on Killjoy now. Baby TZ was the reason why I decided to main Killjoy aggressively, rather, because the way that she plays Killjoy, she is very sneaky. She's okay with playing these very aggressive angles, hides very quietly, and only steps up when she needs to. And I think this was something that was echoed in the previous game with Baby TZ playing that Sky. You don't really see that huge plays until she has to, and when she does, it really makes a huge impact to the team.
Absolutely love Baby TZ on the Sentinel role. I missed her on this role, actually. Yes, she's been doing wonderfully on the Initiator, but I gotta miss her here. And in the meantime, I'm looking also at Nabsky versus Baby TZ now.
Oh,
That's
Nabsky.
exciting.
Yeah.
And RRQ, of course,
yeah,
with the double duelist special.
I am excited to see Aluka back on this race. She has actually been one of the most fun races to watch as well. So let's see whether it's going to be firepower versus controllers. What do you think, Mika?
Oh, it's gonna be really close. Don't make me choose right now. Let's just let our casters choose.
I don't think we're allowed to choose. I think that's what they call a bias caster, and that's not allowed if you want to be correct and good. So instead, we are going to be casting an incredible game, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of history riding it. See if we just segue from that one, But truth be told, this is such a historical map for such a historical series. Because
matchup, yeah.
And matchup especially, because we've seen this happen again and again between FULLSENSE Sapphire and RRQ Kaguya. Last time these two teams have met, 15-13 in favor of RRQ Kaguya to finally book their own date with SMG in the grand finals of Open 3. The other 2 times, won out by FULLSENSE Sapphire. So of all the places we're gonna end this upper bracket matchup, it is poetic that we're gonna do it on Lotus.
And it's also the fact that this is the thing that sends either one of them to the upper bracket final where they will face off against Team SMG, who is waiting for them there. If not, they're going to go in the lower bracket and we'll see what happens there. But at the same time, I mean, right now, you talked about it, 13-15 was what happened the last time that they played. And the last time that they played, like what our panelists were talking about, Baby TZ was popping off on the Killjoy, 27 kills, and she does it all through defensive maneuvers. She's just anchoring down sites, not necessarily getting first kills, and that's the thing that we want to look out for.
I just want to call it real quick. If Baby TZ's playing, if we're getting a Killjoy for FULLSENSE, it's Baby TZ on it. Please continue that.
Alright. I mean, I wanted to add on. It's just the fact that, like, now Polly is the Omen. Before that, we had Margot. So Alyssa's now the Viper, and that's like slight adjustments. Maybe Polly can be a little bit more proactive now that Alyssa's going to be going for that full-on defensive Viper.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, especially from what we've seen Alyssa usually on the Cypher, if ever, flexing over the skies, runs a Killjoy on the map. It suits her better in terms of her playstyle, in terms of her background as a player, especially. So, RRQ, they're holding on with the Cypher composition plus the double duelist that they won with back in Open 3. The door has opened, and truthfully, this is a map that both teams have studied extensively against one another. Napsky, though, first kill already from the staircase. Alaka tried to find the contact, but Muffin will catch her in the act instead. 4v4 for the time being. Boombot's there. Best trying to stay towards the backside. Napsky is again providing reinforcement, and from this point on, the pistols are swinging in favor of RRQ. Honestly, Alyssa trapped right now. There's the tap. Already go for the defuse, and from this point on, it's all RRQ to hold them at bay. A big win towards RRQ Kaguya's favor.
Yeah, to me, it just starts off with Napsky and her frag. With a classic, she just kind of holds up around stairs and manages to find a little bit more. And it's already great reads coming out from RRQ. Yes, FULLSENSE kind of made their presence known, opening up the revolving door and pushing through that way. Everyone from RRQ was already in position to retake. And I think because of that, it was not too difficult for them to kind of dissect the site and slowly make their way in together. Hence, FULLSENSE Sapphire, it's something that they have to rethink with how they want to hit sites. Because this is an RRQ Kaguya that did take them to overtime and take them down with such aggression. Look at Ayumi.
And RRQ especially, starting on the defense here, their more preferred side in their history. The side that gave them 8 rounds in their last outing. There's just so much of a story between these two teams, especially in Lotus. But this time around, it's Baby TZ who's the first author with the pen. Big pick with the sheriff. Here comes Alaka, now low HP. Best of one, but Baby TZ with another. Napsky now providing covering fire. And it's 3v3. Critical HP here for RRQ. Mow them down though, says Napsky and the rest. It's all left to Baby TZ who's picking up the Bulldog. But Alaka, such a quick trade. 3 for Baby TZ, not enough to win the round with.
Despite being 9 HP too, Dax, she still is able to pull off such a maneuver and just working off of her teammates that way. That said, though, although it was a round win for RRQ Kaguya, and they've been doing pretty good on these pistols now, it's going to hurt their economy. Alaka's the only one left alive, so gonna have to be careful for the next round, or maybe consider going in for light shields. Apart from that, it's also interesting to note that Jinny is on a fade this time. Previously, she was on the Sky, so we're trading in some flashes for more intel gathering, perhaps. And I'm curious to see how that works out. Maybe you've got some combos that you can pull off with Muffin.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point for it. You want to use the Nightfall for the retake if ever. The Seas plus the Pain Shells, always such a critical combination to utilize. RRQ Kaguya, they've noticed here that FULLSENSE have made these adjustments in terms of the roles, in terms of an agent, and looking to just play the way that they're accustomed to on this map to a big advantage early on.
Yeah. Still, though, despite that, just trying to pull back for a second. You can see the setup towards C Mound in case FULLSENSE Sapphire does decide to push. Apart from that, it's just that same toxic screen towards the A site, a bit of conditioning, and FS just trying to poke and find a weak spot. It could be C if Ayumi falls.
Well, RRQ Kaguya so confident to push with the double duelist. Punished though quickly by Polly as he checks the corner and finds Ayumi all by her lonesome. Likely to be a target here as Polly sets up with the paranoia. Alex though going for it, but already Muffin isolates her target towards the bend and moves forward to get another one. The paranoia a little too late to the party as FULLSENSE Sapphire have already come and gone to take the round.
That's one way to turn things around. Flawless win off of the slightly scuffed economy coming up from RRQ Kaguya. And also the fact that they just
30 seconds left.
kind of watch angles for the first, like, minute or so of the round. It kind of made RRQ maybe feel a little bit paranoid, and hence you saw a lot of rotations go off. Not sure if FULLSENSE heard those sounds, but they definitely checked onto Ayumi, and that was the tip of the iceberg.
As soon as they clear these kind of corners, FULLSENSE Sapphire, they have so many ways to take advantage of it. Between the double control plus the fade, the Odin though you mentioned, held by Alaka all the way by Trey. So instead, B-site could be the point of contact. Iceberg trying to prime the paranoia if ever, but the lockdown is a big space made here by FULLSENSE Sapphire, ready now to push onto the site.
Here we go. Spike plant perhaps. Muffin initiating with the showstopper, pushing people back, able to take down the first player, the first piece of the puzzle. Spike goes down and they continue to go in towards C-Link.
They want to play towards Waterfall especially, but here on upper best now, getting ready with the Trailblazer. Polly fighting Navsky though, big picks here from FULLSENSE Sapphire. Ayumi, that's a big angle. Polly wasn't ready for it. Muffin, the fight back there, both this low HP, but the rest of FULLSENSE is already cleaning up house. Ayumi, what else can she do? Pretty much nothing as she backs away to save the gun. Sapphire will tie up the scoreline.
Not bad. And I guess that's the thing about B-site. If you can take closer towards Waterfall, then you're able to watch more angles and possibly stem and stop your opponents from rotating over that easily. And then at that point, you just got to worry about, upper as well as the door side. And FULLSENSE Sapphire make quick work of this as a result. It's 2-2 right now, and Ayumi thankfully saves up on the Vandal. So it's a bit of a hero Vandal for the next round for RRQ. Meanwhile, the rest of them very likely going to go with Sheriffs.
You can see why FULLSENSE Sapphire has adjusted their double controller roles plus the fade. It's just so oppressive in these closer scenarios. Gives them more confidence, especially to push from B towards Waterfall, maybe if upper if they choose to. And I'm really expecting them to do those kind of plays as soon as they get that sight, instead of just completely backing away every single time.
Really surprised that, FULLSENSE just decided to push all the way in. That's it now. You've got Ginny with a Nightfall. And that's a very useful catalyst if you want to hit a site in full. Not necessarily you have to use it this round though, because FULLSENSE, RRQ are on a bit of that eco.
Face
You
your
have to be
fear!
careful. Make sure that you don't fall to too many mistakes. Well, Nightfall invested regardless. It doesn't hit anyone though.
It's a clear onto a free site. FULLSENSE Sapphire. Security is their safety here, Quack. It just feels like coming down from that overtime loss way back in Open 3. FULLSENSE Sapphire, they just don't want to take those kind of risks anymore. They want to assess these sites well early on, and then they can have the confidence to push even deeper. No need to play towards Mount if you can actually go towards
One
Mount
enemy
instead.
remaining.
Iceberg with a TP, and she's all alone now. Nice shots with the Frenzy, a beautiful clip with it. The FULLSENSE, they have the guns, they have the numbers, and they take this lead.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's good that they continue to push deeper into halls, but the Frenzy coming up from Mount, surprisingly able to take down 2 players. So a bit of economical damage sustained for FULLSENSE Sapphire, but not the worst thing in the world, right? And in fact, it's just better for RRQ because they get to buy back up this time around. And once more, we have to take a look at the map and how we want to play around it. Because previously, yes, we saw that Odin from Elka. I see that she was kind of hovering around it. We're back to the Phantom. And Ayumi on the glass cannon op.
Might as well take that risk here. RRQ Kaguya. The biggest concern right now is how much space they're ceding. For the double duelists, they're the ones who want to go for the push instead. The paranoia is there, keeping the opposition at bay. They're trying to lead them into the angle here for Ayumi instead. Reloads though the clip. Muffin here, forcing contact early on near these sites. As the blastbacks finding movement. It's just a FULLSENSE Sapphire staying away from that kind of contact. We're still watching if Yumi can actually catch Polly here. But the rotate looking likely to be instead.
A minute left on the clock, surely. And Iceberg used her from the shadows to get out of a dangerous position. So this should be plenty of information for RRQ actually, but FULLSENSE getting a bit more courageous, going for that option, but getting hit by the Trailblazer.
That
That shuts Muffin down.
The timing from Best enough to save her versus first, but not against that second point of contact. Polly also a beautiful ankle, watching out for upper. Alyssa now on the lurk, finds Iceberg off guard, and it's now 4v2 in favor of FULLSENSE Sapphire. These B takes are looking very dangerous. If you are on the side of RRQ Kaguya, between the fade and that raise, the space being made here by the double control, giving FULLSENSE many angles of opportunity to work with.
That's why, again, all those positions, angles being held, RRQ instead go in for that save. Of course, the op is just too expensive, and they don't want to throw that away. Alka with the showstopper for a potential future round as well. Heard the footsteps. Wow, jumped up. Polly.
But she can't get away from the bullets of the Phantom, and RRQ will save 2 guns at the very least, especially that operator. But you can see the adjustment specifically made by FULLSENSE Sapphire. Running this fade has given them more avenues to work with, Quack, and it was one of the problems back in Open 3 when they're playing that Sky. How do they meet Ayumi and Alaka in double duelist contact? By winning out in a game plan that they know so well, utility.
Yeah, use utility, and if you just fly in and have teammates to back you up, that could always work out. But here's the thing again, and we're always kind of excited to see what's about to happen after something like this. Coach Ducky's timeout. This time at round 7. The operator's still saved up. They've got all the ultimates in the world. What could RRQ do?
You just like it when they call a timeout because his name is Ducky and your name is Quack. Yeah, I kind of figured that out along the way. It's like, why does Quack always name drop the coach? Because...
Well, the coaches deserve a bit of the spotlight.
I know, but there's a little bit more emphasis on Ducky for some reason. I know your ways, my friend. And we know the ways of RRQ Kaguya. A point that you always make is as soon as they call for a timeout, things change for RRQ Kaguya, and now we'll see how their mid-rounding will be moving into this half.
And that's the thing that we want to look out for, because previously we saw a bit more of a B pillars hold. Iceberg kind of positioned behind it to provide assistance with that paranoia. But this time they're going for the early A rubble push. And RRQ with that might be able to push FULLSENSE Sapphire into other parts of the map. Yumi peeking out with the operator around pillars. That's just a bit of a warning sign to FULLSENSE.
Yeah, you got 4 ultimates, especially here for RRQ Kaguya. They have that operator, but Nab sees the one trying to hold down that C-side. Paranoia utilized, Muffin looking to go for the cross. Triggers the Tripwire Zone alongside the Prowler, and the Blade Storm plus the pressure from the Vandal is enough to secure the first kill. Polly though, quick trade versus a hold from Halls. The plant goes down here for FULLSENSE as well. They're watching now what RRQ Kaguya can do. Alaka in position to try and make her way with the showstopper. Does she expect Baby TZ nearby? No, she doesn't! And because of it, FULLSENSE, their aggression, allowing their offense to thrive even more so. Angles of opportunity taken, even of the closest of margins. It's all left to Ayumi and Best now. The flash is there, but there's no way to cross. The op's gone, and the rest of RRQ's lives will follow. 5-2 for Sapphire's advantage.
Man, feels bad for RRQ, and I'm just gonna name drop another coach, all right, Dax? It's Coach Obi, of course, because during timeouts, your opponents get to talk to each other too. And that's, I think, one of those things. They anticipated the showstopper retake, henceforth they stayed right underneath Aluka's nose, and she had no idea that they would be there. And regardless, it's going to be a heavy punish. Now RRQ's economy not looking too good. And 5 rounds won in a row for FULLSENSE Sapphire. I mean, great calls from Ginny as well, because as soon as she heard that operator towards B, she heard the TP towards Rubble, they knew that C would be slightly less fortified.
Look at how familiar FULLSENSE is with the angles taken by RRQ. They saw the showstopper prepared. They expect that, okay, Alika's gonna use Halls for the launch point to get through towards the side. And Baby TZ thriving back on her signature agent in her signature role. It just goes to show Sapphire, they're bringing their A game, especially here on Lotus.
Yeah, desperately wanting to go in and defend their championship title and Game Changers APAC Elite. And of course, they're still gonna have to play off, or whoever wins this today is gonna have to face off against SMG in another day. So always gotta be prepared. Here we go though. Info outside pillars, a big flank being set up by RRQ.
Face your fear!
Navsky in trouble, and the Nightfall makes it even more bad news. The Prowler now searching and seeking all the way towards Waterfall because of the Nightfall extending that radius. Full sense now. The
Spike
plant
planted.
is there for this site to be taken. Okay, Alika, big shot. Baby TZ and Alyssa, what's new as Full Sense are just firing on all cylinders. Lucas the only one still standing in the 1v4. All she can do now is try to provide a bit of damage here, Quack. So convincing from Sapphire on how they take this. Yes, it's an equal round, but the way that they play, the way that they move is oppressive, and it's just Sapphire's nature. 6-2 now.
Yeah, right. One clean shot's all you're gonna get, Alika. And then Full Sense Sapphire completely just deletes the rest of the team. I mean, look at how they streamed into the site, especially on C, and their success rate on this site has been a little bit more effective this round. I mean, this map. And that's why we're seeing RRQ starting to stack up outside of C Mount again. So,
hey!
RRQ, Full Sense, they're just gonna have to think about it. Is it time, Dax?
It's time. So we promise a certain panelist here. As soon as we get our first technical pause, our birthday girl will get a song of celebration. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. So happy birthday to
Tash.
Happy birthday to Tash. Happy
birthday
birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Tash. As you can see, guys, we did not rehearse that whatsoever. We are sorry you had to listen through that, but thank you to everyone who's tuning in so far and greeting our incredible
They just muted
Tash.
the entire stream, Dax.
Happy birthday. No, don't worry about it. I'm used to that. But technical pause, since we have a bit of time to talk about things. Full Sense, look at this. Another streak that has been unanswered by RRQ Kaguya. It's been 6 rounds in a row, and despite the timeout for RRQ to adjust, it's just Full Sense Sapphire who's so confident in pushing towards angles like Halls, angles like Waterfall, utilizing the power of the Fade and the Omen together to make that space. It just has been completely unanswered by RRQ Kaguya.
Pretty surprising, too. I mean, hiding inside the dark cover, Ginny with a Prowler, and just getting that much more space because of it. RRQ's retakes are always kind of stifled. They haven't won a single round ever since the first 2. And that's a little bit, that's cause for concern on RRQ Kaguya's side.
Yeah, I wonder now, what can RRQ truly do here? We've seen some big step-up plays from the squad, especially in the first map. I'm looking back at the stats of Sunset especially, and you remember those last few rounds, the 1v1s, the 1v2s, provided by the likes of Iceberg, provided by the likes of Alika. It just needs to happen here for RRQ right now. They're being sent away from these sites because of the initial utility. And we see that Navsky's on the Cypher, right? I do wonder if she can find a bit more tripwire value if she moves her initial setups away. You have that double duelist. It just needs to be a point of impact that Kaguya can utilize to enable themselves for the rest of this half here.
Going out.
Maybe. But so far, yeah, you're right. We haven't really seen that much. I haven't seen any effective trap plays coming out, unfortunately. Only potential flanks and whatnot. But regardless, here we go. A bit of B presence, but Full Sense Sapphire just holds back and buying out utility from RRQ Kaguya instead. They haven't really hit A that often, though, ever since the first few rounds.
Yeah, it's been very interesting, actually. We usually see those A hits come from time to time. It's been mostly B, it's been mostly C, and now it's mostly been Ayumi getting value early on. The Cloud Burst was there to provide cover, but Bass still holding down the line, staying to get one more kill to her name. RRQ decided to put the aggression to the test, and they will answer Full Sense Sapphire in pitch combat. King of the Hill, Queens of the Mound. That's the seeing, and it will be the crowd going to Ayumi at the end. The third kill, a third round here for RRQ.
I mean, this is Coronation Day, Dax, and Ayumi just keeps it up. The operator plays tailwinding away. Both clobbers spent just to keep her teammate alive, not to mention the guiding light being deployed quickly by Bess as well. I mean, so many of these allow for Ayumi to re-peek again and again, and then the players coming up from Revolving Door 2 just to add on additional pressure. The first round won after 6 from FULLSENSE Sapphire. RRQ are slowly coming back into the game.
Man, this is an interesting take. Look at RRQ go. They want to play a bit more aggressive yet again. They're pushing now from both C and B, but have to back off because of the initial setups of FULLSENSE Sapphire. It's like a challenge here, Quack. Basically saying, is this what you wanted? Is this the kind of fight you expect from us? Because we will give it to you. Polly, though, ready to pull those punches and catch Iceberg in the act. A big
It's
thing
like-
here from FULLSENSE Sapphire.
You ask, you want to fight?
Yeah.
And Paulie's like, yeah, okay. I'll fight.
In the Philippines, that's a Tara G moment.
A Tara G.
Yeah, and now it's time for FULLSENSE to let's go and go towards the A site that we've been talking about that has been left alone. Muffin now blowing Navsky to Kingdom Come. No way to get away from the showstopper there. The plant goes down and the advantage for Sapphire yet again.
We talked about those trips. It hasn't, yeah, it was not really that effective, especially with the showstopper. Such explosive action. Now the Viper's Pit is up. You just don't have that many entrances anymore because of this.
Yes. What do you have to work with? Upper drop, that's basically it. And RRQ Kaguya, they're rethinking right now. The situation might actually just go for the save instead while holding on to the operator. And FULLSENSE, the adjustment quickly from a round-to-round basis. As soon as they met the aggression of RRQ for the last round, they decided to just hang back, play some good positions with utility early on, and from that point, they rotate towards A. Forget that perhaps this map is a 3-site map. It's always been a choice in FULLSENSE Sapphire. They choose correctly in this round.
Yeah, mid-round adaptations again, and that's the name of the game right now. Because both teams are starting to adapt to each other. They're starting to read each other's plays. That C contest coming out from RRQ was great, but unfortunately not too effective the second time around. And that means that FULLSENSE is adapting to their game. And then suddenly going for that full rotation to the A site, Navsky was not quite prepared for it. So next round, we've got Ayumi still with the operator, but she's angling towards A instead. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad just hold up around Mound and B pillars.
Yeah, and you can see now, Ayumi, the rubble position is it's marked here by Alyssa. She backs away towards the lobby instead. FULLSENSE still thinking about how strong their B take can be. But they haven't realized that the Cypher this time, Navsky's the one in position to control the map. Ayumi, though, eventually, patience bearing fruit. A big pick, especially that's Viper gone. Less smokes to work with here for Sapphire. They're gonna try and brave this B side. They're gonna go for utility as well. Muffin down with a cross with the blastbacks, hopping over the tripwire defense. Navsky's more prepared. The upper position, allowing her to go for the neural theft, and FULLSENSE can't make any headway here.
Yeah, very nicely hiding inside the dot cover. Ayumi's the operator as well. Their only option is to head into C, but there's so much resistance. Baby TC makes it slightly easier.
Oh, big picks now opening up the site. The Blade Storm's there though. The lockdown, also a countdown to destruction. And can Ayumi find any target? That's the question. Best though with the one. Finds even a second. The plant going down here from Ginny, but she's all alone in a 1v2 situation. The lockdown though finds no one to chain his RRQ back away in time. The flash gets intel too, and Ginny is brave enough to try and fight that 1v1. Navsky though, clocking her when it matters most. A big punch and a big pick. It's RRQ with their 4th round finally.
Yeah, a little bit painful. Just ate that one. Because coming down to these duels, she had to face them head on. And a little bit unfortunate for Ginny, but she wasn't quite able to make it happen. Especially with the guiding light just thrown at her face as well. I mean, maybe it's a bit of confidence, maybe it's a bit of reactions not quite going as fast as it should be. But the rest of the team, I mean, from RRQ Kaguya, real quick work, real smart for Navsky to hide inside of that dark cover.
Yeah, it feels like for RRQ, this is a scramble that they want here, Quack.
Yes.
They're willing to contend, they're willing to fight, and in moments where they have to make those minute decisions, it's crazy to think that if they have the good setup and they aren't funneled away by utility, they're in such a strong position to contend versus Sapphire.
It's really interesting to see how they have their setup this time. A Yumi operator watching after the toxic screen falls. And we also have Alika with the Odin on the other side. Ooh, elbow spotted out, Dex.
This is why you want to have the right posture, guys. Don't overexert your elbows. Don't overextend, because you are seen and you are caught. A big pick now. The Fate has been the linchpin of the plans here of Sapphire. And they're going to have to play it slow instead to cross towards A.
Still making use of the toxic screen.
Up. Yumi, oh, Ayumi. She's just so ready for it. Despite the pressure of many targets. Wants that kill yet again. 5v3 now, thanks to her picks. And because of the transit towards B, you can see the pressure. You mentioned it. The trips are set. Navsky again on the upper position, looking to find an angle with the camera, trying to get the dart going. But the spike's planted, Sapphire there. Has the reload though at an ill-opportune moment. Baby TZ instead finding best along the way. And here comes Baby TZ with another one. Baby TZ! Oh my!
Is this the best?
This is why you don't put her on the Killjoy. This is why you don't let her play this agent. Because she can do incredible things. Our incredible panel will also break down such a stellar first half.
Baby TZ looking like she is back home, very comfortable on the Killjoy. And Tash, why are all of these crucial rounds ending in like amazing triple kills? We've been having like so many of those this entire day, you know, from the first series all the way over here. But oh my gosh, FULLSENSE Sapphire here, you know, they are just showing a lot of, you know, the rotations are insane and everything. And RRQ Kaguya, I can see how they want to push it, and like, you know, they do want to take that aggression, that fight to FULLSENSE Sapphire, but it just seems like FULLSENSE Sapphire just prepared to take it anyway.
I mean, I did say that Lotus is one of FULLSENSE Sapphire's best maps. It seems like in their playbook, they have scenario A, B, C, D, E, all the way to Z already written down. While we did see changes in pace for RRQ Kaguya, it feels like, okay, we had one round that happened, that they decided to take the fight to us. That's fine, let's change up the pace again. And because of this, how adaptable or how quick FULLSENSE Sapphire, how adept they are at this map, it's really hard for RRQ Kaguya to kind of like really say, okay, this is finally working, we can keep going it over and over again. Because FULLSENSE Sapphire is just so quick to not only deny space, take up space, but also really good at also kind of catching them off guard. We talked about the lurk, talk about rotations, and Baby TZ has been doing just that. Because what Baby TZ brings to the team in terms of playing aggressive, in terms of playing Sentinel, is that aggression. And you saw her W keying all the way till the end.
For a Killjoy, right? That's how you play Killjoy, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, you can try, but clearly Baby TZ here looking very comfortable indeed, and FULLSENSE Sapphire are sensing that indeed, and you know, really using that to, you know, have this confidence going into this map. Can they close it out? That is the question. We do know that RRQ Kaguya sometimes can have a little bit of the late start. So casters, we're gonna find out who takes Lotus.
Looks like comfort is king here, ladies and gents. A Baby TZ, an incredible half to begin with. Paulie as well has been stepping up immensely in this elite tournament. Quack, FULLSENSE are in such a good position right now to try and finish off RRQ if ever. And this pistol, it's a big make and break moment here for the offense.
Yeah, off a quad kill like that from Baby TZ, surely. But look at this fast B hit straight through Waterfall. What is happening?
Come on, it's double duel, as you know. They're just gonna go for the whole WG anyway. Yumi now looking to lead the turret there, don't slow her down. Alyssa playing over to the bed instead, and Best the first one to find the target. Alyssa though with a quick little trade, with RRQ getting the advantage so far. Onto the seaside they go. Wants to pass the plant down. Paulie though found by Navsky here in the halls. It's gonna be a big battle, and the pain shows now to put pressure onto Iceberg. Iceberg getting away, no, can't actually handle the damage. It's 3v2 though. Muffin now alongside Ginny. They're clearing the corner, but do they expect there's another one there? Ginny! Oh, Ginny! That's just fine with the transfer, and FULLSENSE, they still get the retake, they'll get the defuse, and they'll pick up the round.
Just going in to clear the rooms slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I mean, Muffin, knowing where the spike was planted was crucial. The paint shell trajectory, she calculated that. And then going in to clear out the, backside, trying to go and check further angle, sure, a little bit distracted, but Ginny came in to bail her out, and that is cover and fire movement. Now we're in 4-9, and it's FULLSENSE Sapphire, each team having won one pistol round on this map, but this aids FS so much more.
Cage came to play in that last round, man. Just such a crucial moment for FULLSENSE. Now they're in the driver's seat even more so as they have big momentum moving forward. Pauly positioned towards rubble, a bit more standard of a defense here for FULLSENSE compared to what we saw in the first half from RRQ. It's a one-way providing a bit of pressure into the unknown goes RRQ Kaguya. Pagel's gonna be there. They have Muffin on the board. Pauly also with the Bulldog. FULLSENSE, they found it so far, but Alaka, a Marshall in hand. Here goes the Pagel. Ginny providing covering fire, and yet again, Ginny showing up when she's needed the most here, my friend. It's Alaka versus the world right now in a 1v4 with the Marshall. So difficult to get away with this, and Ginny has her number. 10 now for FULLSENSE.
It's like Ginny's just like, all right, I've had enough. It's time to close out this map. It's 10-4, like you mentioned, Dax, and it's really close. But I never, ever, ever want to count out RRQ Kaguya. They can always come back, especially if they win this full buy. If they don't, though, then that'll be another story. So who knows what's going to happen? Pauly with a bit of a sheriff. It's a chance for RRQ to come back. Can they make it happen? Because if not, FULLSENSE might be the team that goes up against Team SMG in an upper bracket final.
Yeah, it's looking likely if this continues in FULLSENSE's favor. Pauly actually getting the Bulldog some round. Ginny's moving over to the Sheriff. And as RRQ have the rifles on hand, they do want to put that pressure towards Mount, picking up the orb along the way. And I wonder how their take's gonna be. They still have to deal with not just Baby TZ, but also Alyssa. Two players very accustomed to the Sentinel role. A number of utilities also in the way. And here over on the bend, it's an angle to take. The Prowler though scouting towards that B-side the door. Making a bit of noise, causing a distraction if ever. RRQ's just waiting for their moment here.
It's those anchor players. She's got snake bites too, Alyssa. She deploys them at the right time, might be able to stall for a little bit longer. Here it comes, paint shells in. We're looking for the blast pack, but Alaka just fires anyway.
There's no getting away because of the paint shells. Alaka finds that first kill on the board. And RRQ now make their way towards the site. The plant goes down from Bez, but we're still not done. As RRQ are thinking about, do we go for the push towards Waterfall or a more standard play onto Mountain? It's the latter instead as they back off for now.
So just gonna hold around this spot. Baby TZ still waiting for her teammates to arrive. A Yumi being the first point of contact. The rest will peek off from Mountain off of it. And here they come.
TZ finds first. It's 4v4 though. Good time being. Okay, the smoke's there. The defuse also on Muffin. She's trying to play a cheekier angle. That's Baby TZ. She's found 3, but with 10 HP, it's looking unlikely. Time running on out. There's the camera also. Take a picture, why don't you? Because it's a show-stopping paint shell from Alaka to get 3 at the end. 5-10 as RRQ make their buy round work.
I mean, credit where it's due. In that round, Napsky was the one with the spy cam placement, all that info gathering, despite Pauly's dark cover blocking off Mound. Because of that info gathering, it's free wall hacks. What can we say? He's just able to find those frags so easily, and with that, RRQ standing a chance at coming back into the game.
Yeah, just so secure with the CCTV online. In the end, though, it's RRQ now. A chance here to get momentum in their favor. FULLSENSE, on the other hand, they actually gone for the half buy here. A judge, 2 sheriffs with a showstopper. Ginny picking up the orbs to get the nightfall also online. So, despite the gun disparity, it's FULLSENSE here who has a bit more utility to work with, actually.
Okay. Then again, though, timing as well as info is crucial. So without that, you're just kind of making educated guesses. And RRQ are not a team that loves to kind of go in for those risky plays, not at this moment anyway. So they're just going to back off. They have Alaka with the showstopper ready, and they might just be seeking to use that to break open the A site.
Showstopper As you mentioned, the jump peaks to get that intel, but in the end, RRQ have decided to make their way towards A. The smoke is the answer, and Muffin trying to scare them off with the showstopper. Eventually, though, Best is caught towards the 3. No escape whatsoever. A pick right now for FULLSENSE.
30 seconds
Find more from it. RRQ kept that bait. The Nightball making it even more of a nightmare to try and get through. FULLSENSE. They're really making this a night to remember versus RRQ. They're in position right now to go for a retake if ever. VCT waiting patiently. Eventually, though, jumping the gun and Alec on Iceberg with big punishes to even up the odds. A chance right now, but Ginny has other plans. Takes advantage of the chaos, taking upper away from RRQ. FULLSENSE with the angles, with the elevation, and with another round on the retake.
Even without the elevation, those nades from Muffin would have done a lot of damage. And so it's well played by FULLSENSE Sapphire. I mean, this time controlling the map a lot better as compared to what we saw on Sunset, and then kind of funneling them towards where they want RRQ to go, and just being prepared to shoot them down, despite this being a round where maybe they didn't have the best gun. So it was a bit of a half buy with Baby TZ on the judge and everything else. So, well played with the way that they held everything down. RRQ needs to adjust around this, and it might be time for Coach Ducky to call that second timeout, man.
Yeah, they have ultimates at the very least. They still have a round to give also before it gets into series point, if ever. And they're gonna move in the half-buy sets for some of these players. But Aluka already a casualty to begin with. Polly, a different plan also on the inside. FULLSENSE now willing to play risky, willing to play aggressive, but Best has other plans to fight back with. It's 2v2, and in the chaos, she's the only one standing. The Seekers also to find those final 2 targets, pick up the spike and rotate away.
Risk doesn't always pay off the way that you want them to. And with this, picking up the spike, Ayumi calls the B site clear. So they're just holding this and securing that spike plant. And then we go in for a full-on 2-on-2 retake where Ayumi has an advantage.
Spike
Ayumi's
planted.
in position. Anyone who should catch off guard. And case in point, it's Baby TZ, the one to fall. It's all left to Alyssa now. The returning player here for FULLSENSE after a brief dip back in open 3, if I remember correctly. What can she do though from this upper position? Trying to sees Best, but doesn't see Ayumi coming. Finally, it's RRQ who gets back on the board yet again.
Oh man,
we know the drill.
RRQ, just when you think they might have lost it, they come back in. And it kind of, it didn't really happen because of their ultimates or anything like that. That's because of FULLSENSE Sapphire going in for such a risky play at such a crucial moment. And with that, match point and series point is denied from them for the time being. Alika buys up the Odin now. And still with their ultimates and her showstopper and everything.
Yes, this is crazy. She's gonna go for the clear with the showstopper, use the Odin for the post plant if ever, just to suppress FULLSENSE. It's a big task here for RRQ. But you mentioned it a while ago, Quap. Because of that round win, they now have a buffer to work with and still ultimates to boot.
Alright, let's see if we can make this investment count. Muffin does punish real quick though. And the dark cover is propped up. Okay.
Oh. Nah, she's not gonna shoot that way. It's the boom bot instead. We'll look for a target or two. The doorway providing entry towards Polly to move back towards the C site alongside Baby TZ. All A is absolutely open. RRQ have no intel for it. Instead, trying to move towards the B site. We got Ginny here, working over onto Lake if ever. As the swarms are being set by Baby TZ. RRQ instead looking to try and find a way through. The door now opening.
We're off the C.
Are they gonna go for the C? Yes, they are. And well, Polly, is she ready? Here comes the showstopper. Polly gets one for her troubles before Alika will blow her up. But Baby TZ, other plans have found out by Best instead. It's 3v3 though, as Alika wants to fight on back. Muffin though on top of things. The blast back there from above. Even the Haunt gonna be in position. And FULLSENSE Sapphire looking to buy so much time. Alika though running out of bullets. 1 HP to still fight on back. Given ample time to go for the pain shells. Here goes the push. The regrowth not enough to keep her teammate alive. And with Best in critical state, that'll be Muffin to mop the floor of the opposition. Series point here for Sapphire.
This is her bakery, Dax. My goodness, just throwing everything out of the oven. And I know my alphabet really well. We rotated from A to B to C. And it's just RRQ really trying to find that opening, but a little bit unfortunate off of it. You could tell that Alka, if her boombot actually connected onto someone, she would have let that Odin rip. But unfortunately, nobody was around the corner, and that's because FULLSENSE Sapphire knows the advantage that they have. They know that they're not going to go for any crazy risky plays this time around. So backing up, RRQ, possibly their final round. It's series point. They make their way towards C.
Yeah, make or break moment here for RRQ. They win this, they continue on. They lose this, it's FULLSENSE who will fight SMG in the upper bracket instead. And Ayumi under pressure by the turret. Baby TZ already the bane of RRQ's existence, keeping them at bay alongside Alyssa. And here comes Baby TZ with a big one. 4v3 now, the showstopper heard. Muffin flies high to go for the deny. And FULLSENSE, they shine to move on to the next round. They keep the status quo in check, and they bring RRQ Kaguya to the lower brackets.
Securing that momentum, feeling that confident, controlling the map in such a fashion, they managed to defeat RRQ Kaguya. I mean, yes, RRQ, such improvements, they conquered their demons, but then that was only in Open 3. Now that we're back with that full tie roster, Alyssa coming back in, Baby TZ back on the Killjoy, this looks like a much more improved FULLSENSE Sapphire that is going up against Team SMG next.
Oh, what a way to win, and what a statement in the last 2 rounds. Sapphire was so ready for RRQ Kaguya this time around, respecting the core that has caused them problems all throughout last year and making improvements in their own core just to be even better this time around. What's an upper bracket though we just saw here, Quack, and now it is set. RRQ Orangutan over to the lower bracket, waiting for some results there. You got Team SMG versus FULLSENSE Sapphire waiting next on the upper bracket. What a day we've had today. That's it gonna be us for the caster side. We'll send it over to the panel. Our incredible host Mika, our incredible birthday girl Tash, take it away.
Hey, I would also say incredible host Tash as well.
Well, thank you. I'm an analyst
can't say
today,
incredible
doing all,
birthday girl.
doing all the thinking and stuff today. Mika also doing that. Anyways, multi-talented both of us. Mika, what do you think of that match just now?
Okay, I absolutely love that kind of like second wind that FULLSENSE Sapphire had like at the very end, right? Those last few, maybe 4 or 5 rounds, they suddenly had this confidence that like spurred them on, right? And we suddenly saw that, of course we saw sparks of it all throughout the map, but then they were like, okay, you know what? Let's close this out. And that was exactly what they did. RRQ Kaguya, unfortunately, they just couldn't break through, right? There was I sensed a little bit of hesitation as well. It's almost like they were second guessing themselves, especially as, the map drew to a close. You suddenly saw that the entries weren't as confident as they were even in the first half of this map.
I think it's more of like RRQ Kaguya not able to find their footing. They couldn't figure out the game or the play that is being set down by FULLSENSE Sapphire. Again, I really want to highlight how strong FULLSENSE Sapphire has in terms of command and how they play on Lotus. They are one of the teams that is really, really dominant on this map. And I was quite surprised that RRQ Kaguya allowed this map to slip through. And especially with their main roster coming out. I think this was mentioned by the casters just now, with Polly coming back into the team. It looked a lot more solid. It felt like the missing piece that they needed is finally back to really solidify what they needed in the whole team. And on top of that, you also have Baby TZ back on her comfort agent. She's a killjoy, or rather a sentinel that's a little bit more on aggressive side, who's not afraid to press W. And on top of that, she does a really, really good shot as well. And this particular synergy with the comp they're playing, Alyssa on the Viper denies so much space. Also, that Decay helps her teammates so much in terms of getting those frags to just really take them out one by one. And it's been giving the team so much problems. How many times have we seen Yumi try to just break onto the site? And you know how she plays, very, very explosive. And because she just kind of like bursts through, and because of the Viper utility, she's always caught alone on the site.
Yeah, I thought that, with RRQ Kaguya, with the double duelist, right? I thought there would be more of a punch into that entry. But, for FULLSENSE, they just had so much more utility, right? And you had for example, players like Polly, who for, I don't really care how many of you are entering the site, I will put a stop to whatever momentum you're trying to build here, right? And
Yeah.
Molly did so well, as did Muffin, of course, who was just completely insane. Throughout this whole series, Muffin has been playing her heart out indeed. She really, really wants that slot to go over to Game Changers Champions. Oh my gosh. And I think that, for the entirety of FULLSENSE Sapphire, there is this, they might be flexing around just a little bit, these little adjustments, but it kind of goes to show that no matter how they adjust, they're ready. They're so comfortable.
Yeah, I think that the what's the word? The experience that they had last year when they went to Berlin definitely gave them a little bit of an edge compared to the rest of the teams who have been competing here in Elite. But we highly talk about the rivalry between these two teams, but I also want to bring a flip side, which is the friendship of these two teams. Despite them being in two different regions, two different countries, they are actually besties. These two teams found them at Ascension, hanging out together. They're always playing games like Among Us together. So there's a lot. I'm not too sure how it feels like to compete on a stage against your friends. But these two teams, because they're so very close, it must be a whole different mindset when they go into the game. I think it's more than just rivalry at this point. It's just trying to prove that despite us being friends, we leave the friendship out the door. And when it comes to being serious on the battlefield, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, and as we take a look at our updated brackets right now, we are going to see who falls into the lower bracket. And Tash, so far it's been great here at Elite. Unfortunately, for tomorrow's matches, this marks the beginning of eliminations. It's going to be very exciting indeed. Meanwhile, on our upper bracket, we have SMG Bulls versus FULLSENSE. It's going to be so exciting, especially since these two teams have been those, uber confident powerhouse punches that we've seen so far here at Elite.
Yeah, I think that I think we're really looking forward to the lower brackets as well. I want to see which one will be finding a way to stay, which ones will be surprising us, and unfortunately, which ones will be ending their run for this year's Game Changers. And as we go forward, I think there's a lot of fans at home who put a lot of expectations, especially I know for South Asia, the fans are massive. They want to see more from their teams. They want to see South Asia represented up there. So there's definitely a lot of people coming into, I think, support global esports. Now for Nyx and MLT, this is not their first rodeo. They both came from the LCQ. Yeah, so this is definitely a rematch, I have to say, between them to see which team stays and which team has to go home.
Yes, unfortunately, that's tomorrow. Look at Fifi's eyes. Bleeding.
When
don't make me
Fifi
go home.
is in the team loses, you kind of like gray out the logo. Fifi looks so sad. So Nyx Fiance, just keep that in mind, yeah? If you guys were to lose, Fifi is going to be very sad.
And we're gonna have to stare at that logo. Everybody's gonna have to stare into Fifi's eyes and be like, "No, Fifi!" But I think that was strategy as well. I think I was like, do you really want to send Fifi home? But
yeah, do you want to send Fifi home? Do you want to make Fifi sad? I mean, their tagline has always been for Fifi, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna see indeed what happens to Fifi, what happens to MLT, Global Esports, and of course NWJ as well. That will be it tomorrow, and it's gonna be exciting. It is the first of our elimination matches here at Elite, and as we do know, the stakes are higher and higher because it will be their last chance. I want to see what form these teams will be pushed into tomorrow, Tash. Any final thoughts for today?
Incredible from all these teams. Looking forward to tomorrow, and not gonna be here for tomorrow, but I'll see you guys on Sunday.
That's right. You can continue your birthday celebration tomorrow, right? Neither will I, actually, but I'm eager to tune in and find out. Let's scroll the comment section tomorrow as we have our days off. Happy birthday once again, Tushan. Thank you so much.
Auntie Tash is officially an auntie.
Thank you so much for working on your birthday to bring us the Game Changers action right here. We will see you guys again at same time, same place here. Well, we will be in the comment section, of course. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Game Changers APAC Elite.
Zone A. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Got the money in the bank.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Hit you with the
One enemy remaining.
bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Spike down. C. One enemy remaining.
Show me what you got. Back that up, back that up. 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 Show me what you got.